about a year we've been in residence. Good builder, everything working pretty good. A few little problems here and there, but nothing to be concerned about. However, except for one area. It's a split plan. 2 bedrooms, baths on one end, master suite on the other end. The return air for the master suite end is in a very short hallway right outside the door going into the master suite. The back pressure on that door will almost jerk the knob of the handle at least out of your hand. There's just a lot of back pressure when that door is closed and either heat or air is running. I'm wondering if I need to trim more off the bottom of the door. It's only about a ½ inch right now. Would that be helpful? Would it improve performance? What are the ramifications?
So, Lee, there is, what you're describing is very common to have that differential pressure between the master suite and the little anti-hallway area going in where the return air is located when that door's closed. And it actually creates more problems than you would think. And it's not just...
In 1 mile, use the right lane to take exit 13C, I-10 East Port Slidell.
Related to moisture, and eventually if it goes unchecked, it can also affect your indoor air quality problems as well. So it's difficult to be able to undercut that master bedroom door and still alleviate all of the differential pressures that occur when the door is closed and the HVAC system's operating. Let me tell you why. Because, and it's the master suite, the problem, is in your master bedroom, and I don't know how big the bedrooms are, but you have at least one air conditioning supply register in the bedroom. You may have 2. You have one in the bathroom, and you have one in the closet, or if you got a his and hers closet, you may have one in her closet, one in your closet. So you could easily have 4 to 5 different supply registers in the master suite, all trying to migrate back underneath the crack of the door to get into the return air intake that's located outside the master bedroom door. You can't undercut that door.
Exit right to exit 13C, I-10 East Port Slidell.
So just taking off another ½ inch is not going to get you to where you need to be. What you really need to do, and I had this conversation with HVAC dealers and with builders on a very regular basis, is that if you have anywhere in your house where that door is going to be closed for any length of time, like a teenager's bedroom that's closed, the door's closed all day and all night in most cases, is that you need to have a...
Continue straight for 30 minutes to I-10 East Port Bay St. Louis.
Like through a passive grill, or you need to have a dedicated, active, ducted return air intake. In the master bedroom, because there's so much air going to the master suite, the only way you really can do it is through a dedicated return air intake in that master bedroom. Because that master bedroom door is so close to where the return air intake is anyway, it really should not be a problem to add an additional return air intake in your master suite, presuming there's not a second story above this area. Is this a single-story house or two-story house?
Single-story, fully plywood on all the rafters.
So Lee, I think if I was you, I would call your HVAC dealer and have him come install a second return air intake in your master bedroom, but it needs to have a damper on it. And the reason for the damper is when that bedroom door is closed and the air conditioner or heater is operating, you need to have your same quantity of air that's in all the supply ductwork scattered throughout your master suite. It needs to be balanced equal to the amount of air is being removed by the return air intake, so that you have a balanced pressure approach. And the only way you can measure that is with an airflow hood. So your HVAC dealer only has to install a return air intake in your master bedroom with a damper. They need to go measure and balance the supply air equal to the amount of return air, so that when the door's closed and the HVAC system's operating, you don't have a difference of pressure.
That makes perfect sense. Okay, one follow-up question. What if I just left the master bedroom door open all the time?
Yeah, that's perfect, if you can do it.
Okay. Yeah, I like to have the door closed at night, but might have to modify my watch a little bit.
Yeah, it would function the same way. If the door was left open, it would function the same way as what I described. And of course, you don't have any additional costs associated with that. You just have to change your lifestyle a little bit.
Yeah. Okay, thank you, Paul. Really appreciate you and
Yes, sir.
what you offer to the public.
You're quite welcome. Thank you for calling. Let's go to the next call and speak with Dan. Hey, Dan, good afternoon. Thanks for holding on. Hey, Dan, you still with us?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Sure can. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Excuse me. I had a question for Courtney, please. I have had a house that's been vacant for quite some time since the hurricane. The people moved out because the house was damaged. I've had the house repaired and upgraded somewhat, especially in the kitchen. But I had not raised the rent on the tenant that had to move out and could not move back in because of the hurricane in years. I was wondering, how can I calculate what the present rent should be?
Mr. Dan, that's an excellent question. Let me start off by saying we're in a very unique time right now where, because there's so few inventory for rentals, there is rental appreciation, meaning on properties where for 5 years rent has been X amount, we're now seeing that amount grow. The reason why I'm starting off by saying that is I'm going to give you some tips, but understand right now we're all trying to figure out how to calculate the market rent for our rentals. I can tell you, personally speaking, every single one of my properties are seeing a bump in the rental prices. One side of that is the expenses are increasing, right? Insurance, property taxes, and the cost of repairs. And so we're seeing across the board rents going up. I want to give you two tips. Number one, this is something that you can, hire a local real estate agent or property management company to do. They will utilize the multiple listing service and give you a comparable analysis of what other rentals are going for. The second thing is...
Roddy, let me interrupt you, please. Something's wrong. My phone is very weak signal. Could you speak a little louder, please?
Yes, sir. So the first thing you can do is, this is something that you can hire a local real estate agent or property management company to give you a rental analysis of the comparable rentals to yours. The second thing, the do-it-yourself method is, for example, there is a website called rentometer.com. So it's rent, R-E-N-T-O, meter, M-E-T-E-R.com, where you can enter in the information of the property, and it can actually pull from multiple websites and tell you what an average rental amount is. That is something that a lot of professionals use that site, but it is not, it's not all inclusive. So those would be two recommendations I would give you. As far as that goes, does that help answer your question?
Yes, ma'am. It sure does. It's rentometer.com. Is that the...
Yes. Yes, sir.
I don't want to answer. Tell me what this would be. As a matter of fact, that would be favorable to me. Would there be a charge to this?
For the rentometer, Rental meter sometimes is free, sometimes you have to pay for it. Same things with the real estate agent or the property management company. Sometimes they will give you the comparable analysis free to show the services that they can give. Sometimes they will do it for a charge.
This company that I would call, not the rent-a-meter, but the private companies, how do I get their numbers? I don't know any names or anything.
Sure. So one of the companies, you're on the South Shore, Mr. Dan, or the North Shore?
No, ma'am, I'm on the south. This is going to be just off Metairie Road, by the railroad track down there.
Okay, so I'm going to recommend, there's a company that I know and that I am comfortable sharing. It's Pelican Realty of Louisiana. Pelican Realty of Louisiana.
Hello. Courtney.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, repeat it slowly and loudly, please.
Yes, Pelican Realty of Louisiana.
Pelican Realty of Louisiana.
Yes, sir. They are a property management company.
Do you happen to have a number for her?
One moment. Let me pull that up. They are based on the South Shore, and here is their phone number. 504-872-9612. Again, that's 504-872-9612.
Let me read it back to you, please. 504-872-9612. Is that correct?
That is correct, Mr. Dan.
Pretty as usual, I listen to you all every week, and there's a good event on me. You still, I can appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thank you for tuning in.
Thank you, honey. Bye-bye.
All right, folks. Thank you for calling, Mr. Dan. Real quick break. We'll come back. We'll continue answering your questions here on the Home Improvement Show. Right back after this.
After a weekend of football, it's time to second guess. And nobody does it better than the Cajun Cannon, because he's been there, done that. Join Bobby Hebert and NFL analyst Mike Detillier for Second Guess. Mondays at 4 o'clock, live from the Silver Slipper, your host on the coast. Analyze Saints and NFL games like a pro. Second Guess with the two Cajuns, Bobby and Mike. Mondays from 4 p.m. till they get tired of talking on WWL.
If you follow the stock market, you're aware that a bear is growling on Wall Street. This is Glenn Pellis with Gulf South Guarantee, and the fiscal uncertainty of the U.S. economy doesn't loom well for market investments. So what should investors do when the market becomes unstable? Particularly if you're retired or preparing for retirement. Many advisors would tell you to hold the course, and for those that followed that advice in 2008, it took 4 to 6 years to regain their losses. How would a 4 to 6 year setback affect your retirement? Through our many financial institutions, we can show you how to get safety and opportunity for growth on the same dollar at the same time. Allow me to show you a secure and dependable path to retirement. Call me at 877-615-4312. It's 877-615-4312, or find us on the web at GulfSouthGuarantee.com.
Hey folks, Bobby Hebert here from my friends over at Clearwater Pools and Spas. Get your backyard ready for the cooler weather with a hot tub from Clearwater Pools and Spas. They have the largest selection in Louisiana, including hot spring spas. Clearwater Pools and Spas also has a great selection of high-end grills. Make your backyard the place to watch the game in style. Visit Clearwater Pools and Spas in Covington, Metairie, Baton Rouge, Pearl, Mississippi, or their newest location in Gulfport. Clearwater Pools and Spas, CWNOLA.com. Come on down to Silver Slipper.
Hi, this is John from the Silver Slipper, inviting you to join us at our award-winning Jubilee Buffet any Monday through Thursday for our all-new shrimp feast, where we feature several fabulous shrimp entrees on our buffet line in addition to our regular lineup. Then on Friday nights and all day Saturday and Sunday, our very popular crab feast returns, which has been a favorite here at the Slipper for years. Celebrating 15 years as your friend and neighbor Silver Slipper Casino, we are proud to be your host on the coast.
Have a good time at the Silver Slipper.
New to Curiosity Stream. When you think Heinz, I think ketchup. I think Coors, you think beer. How do the most iconic food brands? They're great. Become iconic. Unwrap the surprises behind the brands that feed our world on Eat Me or Try Not to. Plus, the best poker face. Check. I almost call it needs a poker brain. Researchers use MRIs and more to study the traits of the world's best gamblers in the mind of a poker player. It's on Curiosity Stream. Annual plans are $20. That's $1.67 a month. Visit CuriosityStream.com.
Spencer Callahan is the one to see. Call 475-2323.
LA 121 12674. Offices in Baton Rouge.
Call 475-2323.
Have you wanted to speak a new language but thought it'd be too difficult or take too much time? Then try Babbel. Whether you want to learn Spanish for future travel plans, French to connect with extended family, or maybe German to land a new job, Babbel works because it's built around real life. It teaches you everyday practical conversations that you'll actually use. All you need is 15 minutes a day, and you'll be on your way to confidently speaking a new language in just a few weeks. Babbel is designed by real language experts using a modern conversation-based technique that makes learning fun, engaging, and best of all, memorable. It starts by teaching you words and phrases. Then sentences gradually get more complex. Soon you're practicing short conversations about real-life topics. And with 14 languages to choose from and lesson topics like travel, business, relationships, and more, you'll be sure to learn what matters most to you. Babbel. Language for life. Learn a new language with ease. Go to Babbel.
Police reported ahead.
That's BABBEL.com. Babbel.com.
I didn't feel so well, so I searched my symptoms on Google, and now I'm being followed by uncomfortable ads. I hate feeling like my personal data is being bought and sold. I downloaded DuckDuckGo and saw a difference right away. Take back your privacy with DuckDuckGo.
Now, more of the Home Improvement Show, underwritten by LaGrange Consulting, LLC. All advice given and opinions shared are solely those of Paul LaGrange, construction consultant who specializes in energy efficiency, indoor air quality, and sustainability. Back to WWL.
Hey, welcome back to the Home Improvement Show. Let's take a look at a few texts. First text today says, hey, I bought a new house, and the floodlights outside don't work despite changing the bulbs. How do I check the wiring? So the first thing I would check would be the breaker box. So I would go to your service panel, make sure none of your breakers have been tripped, and that's the first thing I would do. The second thing I would do, although typically the outdoor floodlights are not protected by a GFI circuit, it's possible that they do, or that they are. I would look at all of your GFI outlets, and I would make sure that none of them have been tripped. If they are, reset them and then check your floodlight. If that doesn't work, then the next thing you can do is go and actually go to the fixture itself, the floodlight fixture, and if you have the tools and the skill set knowledge, you can actually take a meter and look at the wiring and see if you have pollen coming into that flood, or you can, if it's in the floodlight, if it's not the light, you can go to the switch, where the switch is out in the wall, you can take the cover plate off, and with an ohm meter, verify you have voltage there as well. Again, this is something, if you don't have the knowledge on how to do this or the proper tools, you should hire a local licensed professional.
Watch out, vehicle on shoulder ahead.
Again, if you have the knowledge, it's not difficult to ring it out, figure it out. But if you don't have the knowledge, then it's best to leave that one up to a professional. All right, here's our next text. It says, Paul, have you used or would you recommend Slidell roofing for installing a new roof? Yes, I have used Slidell roofing, and I certainly do recommend Mr. Bill Heffley. In fact, I've known Bill for, at least 25 years. He has done some projects for me in the past, and he is an excellent resource. Locally owned, insured company, been around for decades doing roofing in Slidell. So reach out to Slidell Roofing. Bill Heffley, good contact, great guy, and he'll be happy to help you with your roof replacement. Let's see. Here comes another text. It says, issue with musty, moldy smell in a house. Has about 2 feet crawl space, and the floor does not have a moisture barrier. It's a 6-inch tone groove floor followed by oak flooring or plywood laminate. And here's the question, would a closed cell spray foam underneath prevent future smell, or would that be the best option? Here's the thing, if you got a musty, moldy smell, and it's the same smell inside your home that is underneath your house, meaning if you can crawl into your home, it's that same smell, there's a really good chance, which is actually pretty common, that you're smelling the crawl space. But if you have air-conditioned ductwork in that crawl space, and you have duct leaks, if you put a closed cell foam on the bottom of the wood floor from underneath, that's probably not going to solve your problem because you're getting some of the smells inside your house through your duct leaks. So not knowing the whole scenario is difficult for me to give you some guidance here, but I can tell you that if the only source of smell, the musty, moldy smell, is through your floor from your crawl space, then there is a really good chance that if you install a closed cell spray foam product, and that would be a 2-pound density closed cell foam, at least 2 inches thick. It can only be applied.
Watch out, vehicle on shoulder ahead.
With a moisture content of 15% of moisture content or less, then there's a good chance you can greatly reduce that smell inside your house. Presuming that's the only source, but again, that needs to be investigated a little bit further. Keep those texts coming in, and we'll get to them back to you as much as we can, as much as the time permits. Let's go to the phone lines and speak with Sam. Sam's on that Charlie. Hey, Sam. Good afternoon. Thanks for holding.
How you doing? Yeah, to follow up on a couple of your suggestions there with the GFI, I found out the hard way, not being an electrician, when my refrigerator was off. I checked all my breakers, nothing's tripped, none of that. And I'm going through there, I checked the receptacle, there's no power to the receptacle. And I talked to, actually my AC guy was River City, I can't remember the fill it. And he says, do you have any GFIs? I said, yeah, unfortunately. He says, check all the GFIs in your house. Now, in the bathroom, which is in the middle of my house, the GFI was tripped, so that kept my refrigerator at the very rear of the house from working. Because you don't know what's wired to what in the AC. You know, if you think about it, you have wall receptacles, right? They'll be on one circuit on an older house. So that's why, 40 feet away, my refrigerator wasn't working. And again, thanks to Phil from River City, he gave me the heads up on that with the popcorn. Anybody that pushes that, that's someone that doesn't know how to do taping and floating. They're trying to hide substandard work. With the popcorn, you have the disadvantage when you repaint of how you clean that before you paint it. You can't paint over dust. It traps dust, so if you have sinus trouble with me, you'll have worse sinus trouble. And my suggestion, when I specifically told him I didn't want popcorn, he did it anyway while I was at work, because he thought it would look better. I said, well, unless you're buying my house today.
Watch out, vehicle on shoulder ahead.
The way I'm saying you do it. I got so mad with this. After 2 months of looking at it every night, as I'm sleeping, I got up with a ladder and a wide taping knife. I scraped it all off. And I primered it, and it looked like I had orange peel. Now, I lucked out there because it wasn't on there very long. So I suggest to your caller, scrape it off with a taping knife. Less dust, primer it, and have someone retexture it, respray it. But that popcorn, that just hides substandard taping. My question, though, to you was the roofing materials. I'm trying to gather I'm probably making headway with the insurance, slowly. Thanks to you all and Courtney and Doug and his wife. But anyway, I still need to get together my deductible. My question is, you keep up with all this stuff better than me. Month to month, are the price of materials still skyrocketing, or is that leveling off? In other words, like if I'm doing this in 2 more months, is it going to cost me a lot more? Because I don't have time-wise, my roof's not leaking. It's more or less money and price of things going up as far as me trying to get it squared away. are the price of materials still going up every month?
So, Sam, let me say that
Watch out, vehicle on shoulder ahead.
every 2 to 4 weeks, there was always price increases. Yeah, and it was happening on a very regular basis. And that kind of leveled off a little bit as we got near the end of the year. But let me say that when you get to the first of the year, you can always expect a small increase or a small bump in pricing. So that's the way it's always been in construction. The first of the year, there's always a 2 to 3, sometimes 4% bump in pricing. So if you price materials in November, December, now you're in January, you can expect them to be a little bit higher. I have not heard anything recently in the past probably month and a half where there's been a big bump in pricing other than the first of the year jump. So at least that's what I'm hearing on the streets. I'm not sure. Courtney may have a different perspective. Courtney, you're in the middle of a renovation project right now.
Price materials then.
Go ahead. Sam, did you say something?
No. So in other words, since we've already had the first year price increase, I'm sure waiting until end of February, beginning of March, it's not going to dramatically increase the materials prices. At least as far as y'all know. You don't know a month ahead of time, but from what you're keeping up with, y'all more knowledgeable about this than me.
Yeah, that's what I'm keeping up with, but keep in mind, my crystal ball is not that clear. And listen, but Courtney's in the middle of a renovation project now. She might better handle on that one.
Okay.
So Sam, I've got 2 6-figure renovations going on right now, and then there's other things going on as well. What I want to speak to is, for example, the Home Builders Association had put out something within the last week where it was talking about how they're predicting supplies, lumber, but other things as well to go up, that it's going to be a repeat similar to 2021.
Okay, so it's going to keep on going up because of the COVID excuse more than the hurricane.
I think it's both.
Okay, so it probably will be continuing to go up month to month then.
That's really hard to tell.
This was Courtney's thing.
Yeah, it's really hard to tell, but they are predicting it. That is a really hard thing for all of us to guess.
Yeah, but y'all would know more than me. Another quick question. I'm pretty settled on my roofer. In fact, he's one of the sponsors of the show. Reputable company and everything. He came out. He showed me all his materials, and I'm very comfortable with who I'm deciding with. Now, what I'm concerned about though is that they require to put you on the waiting list. They require that you pay your deductible up front. Now, the thing is, once you put money up front, even with a reputable company, the customer automatically forfeits the timeline. What my concern is that, I'm going to have to buy my place on the waiting list, and who knows when they get to me. And my thing that Paul suggested last month is that, well, when they have you scheduled, they're going to need so much down to buy your materials. But is that something common, or is it kind of like there's so much roofing business they could kind of name their convictions?
In 5.8 miles, keep right to I-10 East toward Bay St. Louis.
With the roofer on one of your properties. No, if I'm if we're going to start in 2 weeks, I have no problem putting the down payment up in 2 weeks. That's no problem with me. But it's almost like you have to buy a spot on the waiting list. And then who knows when they'll get to you because there is so much work.
Go ahead, Courtney.
Yes, and that is something that you will have to kind of concede to. Here's what I'm doing is I'm just, number one, there is a level you do want to go with reputable companies because there is so much business. They can kind of set the parameters of which it looks like. But I will say this, number one, going back to your question about rising costs, I am building in 15 to 25% contingency of increases. So that's how I'm hedging my bet. So if it's a $10,000 roof, build in, $1,500 to $2,500 of increase. Stuff like that is what I'm doing with my projects. it used to be a 5 to 10% contingency. With inflation and other things, I've built it up.
So, hey, Sam, we got to go take a break. I appreciate the phone call. We got to take a quick break and come back and we'll wrap up the show. So right back after this. Good luck with that roofing project. Appreciate you calling.
This is Jeff Muntz, and along with my brother David, we own and operate Seabrook Harbor and Marine, one of the most advanced, state-of-the-art yacht, boat, and repair facilities on the Gulf Coast. We are conveniently located on the Industrial Canal, just a half mile from Lake Pontchartrain, and we're accessible from just about anywhere via the ICW. Seabrook offers a wide range of specialty services, from painting and carpentry to mechanical and electrical. We also build custom parts and do complete refits. Winter is a great time for maintenance and repairs, so when spring rolls around, your boat will be in tip-top shape. Seabrook also offers dry stack storage for 200 boats in our 38,000 square foot stackable storage facility, along with wet slips and trailer storage. Just call us and your boat will be in the water ready to go. And should a storm be heading our way, don't worry, you won't have to move it. We like to call it boating made easy. Come visit us on France Road or online at SeabrookHarborMarine.com.
The following ad is paid for by McClenny Mosley and Associates, 1820 St. Charles Avenue, Suite 110, New Orleans, Louisiana, 70130. Attention homeowners with homeowners insurance. If your home was damaged by the recent Hurricane Ida, you may qualify for additional compensation. Was your home damaged by Hurricane Ida? Are you concerned you were cheated or underpaid by your insurance company? If so, it's not too late to receive the compensation you deserve. In August 2021, much of Louisiana was devastated by a violent hurricane, leaving destruction in its path. Insurance companies often underpay and purposely undervalue claims for weather damage to homes, leaving you to pick up the pieces. You may be entitled to significant compensation and bad faith damages. Know your rights. Call McClenny Mosley and Associates. We have the experience needed to fight insurance companies for the value you deserve. Call now for a free evaluation of your claim. Please call 800-299-5552. That is 800-299-5552.
If you drive a car, truck, SUV, or vehicle of any kind, you need Get Upside, the free gas app that pays you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy. That's right, with the free Get Upside gas app, you can get up to 25 cents a gallon cash back every time you buy gas. Nearly 3 million people have earned cash back with Get Upside just for buying gas.
I always use Get Upside. Some months I make $200 to $300.
I love getting money back for things I use every day. It's just free money for buying gas.
There's no catch. It's simple, and you get your cash back right away.
Download the free Get Upside app now in the App Store or Google Play to save up to 25 cents per gallon when you buy gas. Use promo code GET for a 25 cent per gallon bonus on your first.
In 1 mile, use the right 2 lanes to keep right to I-10 East Fort Bay St. Louis.
Or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. Earn cash back on gas on every fill-up. Just download the free Get Upside app and use promo code GET for a 25 cent per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code GET.
In South Louisiana, we spend a lot of our time in the kitchen, whether hanging out with friends and family or making that big Sunday meal. The kitchen's a big central spot in our lives. If your kitchen needs to be updated, now's the best time to come to French Quarter Facades in Harahan. We take you through the process, from design to build to happy. They say money can't buy you happiness, but it sure can buy you a beautiful new kitchen done right by French Quarter Facades.
French Quarter Facades.
Keep right to I-10 East Fort Bay St. Louis.
This is Newell for the Ray Brandt Auto Group. Before you accept a low offer for your car, the Ray Brandt Auto Group will pay you top dollar right now. Visit any Ray Brandt Auto Group website to get your Kelley Blue Book instant cash value. Keep your business local. The Ray Brandt Auto Group is buying cars, so check them out and
Go to RayBrandtAuto.com.
How's your mental health? I'm listening with Dan Reynolds from Imagine Dragons.
Yeah, I don't think there is an age that's too early because really, if you take away the word therapy, what's happening is, hey, let's communicate with other people. Let's communicate what you're feeling. It's just communication skills. So it's like basically you're just saying, hey, there might be some conversation you can have with X person that's going to help you. And because it helps you to evolve as a human.
Explore more at I'mListening.org.
The home
Improvement Show on WWLAMFM.com and the Odyssey app. Brought to you in part by Rhino Shield. Consult with Paul LaGrange on the Oakland Hart Jewelers Talk and Text line, 504-260-1870.
Hey, we just have less than a minute to wrap things up. Let's see if we can get one more call in. Chris, if you can make it real quick, how can Courtney and I help you today? We're out. Chris is out. All right, well, sorry couldn't get to you, Chris. Call back next week, or if you'd like to send a email, ask your question, you can send it to me at paul@lagrangeconsulting.com, or you can actually go to our Facebook group page at Paul's House, and maybe your question has been posted there. You can read those past posts and get your question answered. Courtney, real quick, give them that really cool website address if folks want to reach out and learn more about you.
Absolutely. If you go to Courtney10k.com, that's Courtney, the number 10K, as in crystal.com. And that is a horrible analogy for the letter K, but you can check out resources on there, and we look forward to you guys next weekend.
Your home for original reporting.
I'm Allison Keyes in Washington. Better get out those hats, gloves, and snow boots. People in many areas are facing everything from hours of snowy weather to freezing temperatures. WBBM meteorologist Rob Ellis.
A lot of real estate here under winter storm warnings and even ice storm warnings as far south as Columbia, South Carolina. So how much snow are we going to see from this? Well, anywhere from 3 to 6 inches of snow right now, maybe even a couple of isolated spots higher in the Midwest. But it's really the Appalachians and points up the East Coast where things get much more impressive, as much as a foot or more in some of the higher elevations. And then behind this, we have even colder air that's going to move in, and we could see temperatures go as low as 1 degree in Buffalo.
This as a tsunami advisory is issued for the West Coast after a volcano eruption in Tonga. Richard Canepa is at the National Weather Service.
The Tsunami Warning Center issued a tsunami advisory for all coastal areas of California, all the way up to Alaska. They're telling us they're used to predicting these things with earthquakes, but because it was a volcanic eruption, there is some uncertainty.
People are breathing easier in northern New Jersey after a huge chemical fire. Firefighters battled freezing conditions as they tried to get control of the blaze. WCBS TV's Christina Pan is there.
At one point, a chlorine plant started burning, raising fears about air quality and the possibility of mandatory evacuations. Fortunately, the fire is now under control, and DEP officials say levels are safe to breathe.
Concerns now about a Russian ploy designed to give President Vladimir Putin an excuse to invade Ukraine. CBS's Margaret Brennan.
U.S. and Ukrainian officials tell CBS News that the Kremlin is actively preparing the battlefield by using information warfare.
They want to create confusion. They want to make sure that the Ukrainian government, the military, is guessing, that they're constantly searching for answers to lead to that fog of war and ideally give the Russian military room to maneuver.
I, Glenn Youngkin, do solemnly swear.
Support the Constitution of the United States.
To support the Constitution of the United States.
Newly elected Republican leaders are taking office this weekend. Governor-elect Glenn Youngkin took his oath earlier, and Lieutenant Governor Winsome Sears is among those sworn in during an outdoor ceremony this afternoon in front of the state capitol. Sears is the first woman of color to serve in a statewide office. Democrats controlled Virginia's government for the last 2 years. Teachers and students are worried, and some walked out over COVID-19 concerns, saying conditions in schools are unsafe. This is CBS News.
Get CBS News Radio on the Odyssey app. All the audio that matters to you is on Odyssey. News, music, sports, and podcasts. Download the Odyssey app today.
Susan, it's so great to finally be able to get together again. Oh, it sure is. And I really appreciate you picking up the bill. I'm happy to. I've got the extra cash. Since we've all been driving so much more again, I've been using Get Upside, the free gas app that pays you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get paid cash when you buy gas with the Get Upside app?
Yes, up to 25 cents a gallon. Cash back every time I buy gas.
Does that actually add up to anything?
Some months I make $200 to $300. Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the free Get Upside app now.
Download the free Get Upside app now in the App Store or Google Play to save up to 25 cents a gallon when you buy gas. Use promo code SIMPLE for a 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's up to 50 cents a gallon on your next fill-up. You can cash out anytime to PayPal or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Get Upside app and use promo code SIMPLE for a 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code SIMPLE.
WWL First News. I'm Tom Perumian on your official weather station, WWL AM, FM, and .com.
Another cold start, but it is quiet. We are looking at daytime highs climbing into the lower 70s today with lots of clouds around. Showers and storms moving this afternoon because of a cold front. That front will be out of the area tonight, and sharply cooler air moves in as we begin our Sunday.
Your local weather expert, WWL TV meteorologist, Michelle Morgan. New Orleans police are searching for the suspect who shot two people on I-10 East at the Esplanade off-ramp around 3 o'clock this morning. One man is dead, his female passenger hospitalized. Officers responded to the scene after hearing gunfire. If you have any information about this crime, you are urged to contact Crime Stoppers. A juvenile murder suspect remains on the loose. WWL-TV's Mike McDaniel has the latest.
Search continues for 15-year-old Quentin Washington this morning. He's one of the 4 teens that escaped from the Juvenile Justice Intervention Center on Milton Street Wednesday. The other 3 teens who escaped with him have already been arrested. So here's a closer look at Quentin Washington. He's awaiting trial as an adult for second-degree murder. This is from the shooting death of a 14-year-old in Central City last April. If you see him or know where he might be, you're asked to call New Orleans Police or Crime Stoppers.
A whole lot of money is coming to Louisiana for some big fixes. WWL-TV's Sharice Gibson has the story.
So first, here in Louisiana, the state will get $1 billion over the next 5 years to replace and repair bridges. Senator Bill Cassidy helped architect the bipartisan bill. He says 17 bridge projects will start this year. 3 in our area. We're talking about the Harvey Canal Tunnel in Jefferson Parish, LA 47 Intracoastal Waterway Gulf Outlet Bridge in Orleans, and US 51 over the Yellow Water River in Tangipahoa.
In WWL Sports,
the LSU basketball team continues their run through SEC play today as they host the Arkansas Razorbacks later today inside the PMAC. The Tigers were able to pick up a win on the road earlier this week without their starting point guard Xavier Pinson, and it's unlikely they'll have him today, says head coach Will Wade.
He's been running. He's moving better. But I just don't think he's quite ready to play, all out tomorrow. We'll see tomorrow morning. Let him run around a little bit and see what he thinks. But I'd be surprised if he played.
Tip-off in Baton Rouge is set for 1 p.m. and you can hear that game on our sister station, BetQL 92.9. And the NFL playoffs get underway today with 2 games, including Joe Burrow and his Cincinnati Bengals taking on the Las Vegas Raiders. Both quarterbacks Joe Burrow and Derek Carr in this game will be making their first ever career starts in the playoffs. Kickoff for that game is set for 3:30 p.m. And then in the nightcap, it's the Buffalo Bills taking on divisional rival, the New England Patriots. Rookie Patriots quarterback Mac Jones will be facing the #1 defense in the NFL on the road in what could be a chilly Buffalo that's expected to have a temperature of 5 degrees at kickoff. That game is set for 7:15 p.m. Tim Zimmer, WWL Sports.
Now, your Garcia Roofing forecast on WWL.
Saturday morning, we are starting off cold across southeast Louisiana, but daytime highs are expected to climb into the lower 70s today ahead of our next big cold front. We will see a few showers and storms ahead of that cold front, but the main event, I do expect showers and storms to really start ramping up later on this afternoon. When that front has exited the area, sharply cooler air moves in to begin our Sunday. Cover up your plants and also bring your pets inside tonight because it is going to be a very cold start. From your local weather expert forecast center, I'm WWL-TV meteorologist Michelle Morgan.
And I'm Tom Perumian, WWL First News.
We now join CBS Sports Radio, already in progress from our Jefferson Financial Federal Credit Union studios on WWL.
Man, I get that they'd be knocked out for this year, so obviously I won't be taking it serious for this, but moving forward, they had one team in the New England Patriots staying in their way for the better part of 15 years, right? Every year, stuck in a rut, just like the Dolphins and the Jets, can't get past the Patriots, they're just stuck in no man's land. And then they have every advantage you would think on paper in New England today, other than the fact it's cold. Like, that's it. Okay, it's cold. Fine, you play in Buffalo. You better get used to that. Like, if that's a problem for Josh Allen, then every time they're in the playoffs, it's going to be a problem. Not to mention the Patriots in the playoffs. They probably play in the cold. It's not going to be warm in Kansas City on Sunday. There are a lot of cold football games in January. There are teams who play in a dome and a few warm weather cities where you're going to get the advantage, but about half of the playoffs any given year are played in the cold. So if that's the only advantage you have the better quarterback, the better offensive talent, you have the better offensive line. Most recently, even running the ball as well as the Patriots. Like you do, and you rank statistically as good as them defensively for the majority of the year, at least within a stepping stone of that. So really the only question is Josh Allen to Mac Jones, which I will tell you is a pretty significant drop-off at quarterback, especially going into Mac Jones, and rookie quarterbacks are 9-18 in their first start. Another thing that's working in your advantage. If that drop-off isn't as significant as the drop-off from Bill Belichick to Sean McDermott. And I would tell you that I mean that as more of a compliment to Belichick than a knock at McDermott, who's done a good job in Buffalo. And you can't get past the New England Patriots. Then what? Then what are you? Because the Bills are supposed to be the heavy hitter between the Chiefs, because no other team has really emerged in that category. The Titans made the AFC title game 2 years ago. I respect and understand that. They're the bye again this year. I respect and understand that. But I got to be honest with you. It's the NFL playoffs in 2022, and Ryan Tannehill is still your quarterback. I don't completely overlook the Titans. They've beaten pretty much every good team in the NFL this year. And they did that in the early going when they still had Derrick Henry. But despite not having him, they found their way to the 1 seed. I respect all those things. I'm not trying to just put him down if you're listening in Tennessee. I'm not, but it's Tannehill. And in the NFL playoffs, more and more as time goes on, it feels to me a little less likely that we're going to be there. I know a couple of years ago, Jimmy Garoppolo was in the Super Bowl. It's not like Tannehill's worse than him. They're in the same caliber of quarterback, stuck in the middle somewhere, right in no man's land of like, here's some quarterbacks who exist. Yes, we win sometimes. No, we don't typically win Super Bowls. Back when maybe it was a little more likely in the 80s or the 90s or even the early 2000s, and you could drag Trent Dilfer with a handful of examples you want to stick out there for what it has. But if the Bills can't do this, with a serious advantage playing at home against a team they just beat, how can they do it? And what's funny is I don't think they will. I don't think they'll beat the Patriots today. Because for whatever reason, Bill Belichick will find a way. I know that there aren't enough examples of this, because why would there be? Can you even think of an opportunity that Bill Belichick's had to lose twice in a row to the same team inside of a month? He didn't even lose back-to-back divisional games during the entire Tom Brady era. And now I'm supposed to assume he's going to lose back-to-back divisional games for the first time? The Bills, I think a little bit have been, we have Kyle Brand on our show here locally, and he's talked a lot about how the Bills played really essentially since that second half of that Tampa Bay game, in which they were incredible. They lost the game, but Josh Allen was man-possessed. They lost in overtime, but offensively, they were everything you wanted them to be during that stretch. So you think to yourself, okay, now, and they've won all those games, so they're really ready to go, but it's not as simple as that. They're not playing like some unbeatable force. Against the Patriots the last time, sure. He had 315 yards and 3 touchdowns, and there's reporting already today. Bill Belichick, it's not like he's going to play him the same way. So go back to that Bucs game. When he was great, they were great. Since then, the only game in which Josh Allen was an unstoppable force was the Patriots game. He's only been completing about 55% of his passes since then. He had 5 picks during that stretch. They're throwing touchdowns, but he's back to roller coaster Josh Allen. And if they don't do it again this year, then why am I having the conversation about who are the top dogs in the AFC? Well, it feels a little early on the Bengals still. Let's see what they do this postseason. But it feels like it's always been a little bit early on their schedule. Feels, if you thought it was the Chargers, it's not. They couldn't even find their way to the postseason. Can't take them seriously. So then who is it? Who's the team in the AFC that's supposed to go blow for them? Not Mac Jones' time yet. It's supposed to be the Bills. Those are supposed to be the heavy hitters in the AFC. Bills, Chiefs, at least for a couple of years. But if they can't get past New England, then what they're stuck with is you can't even get past the team in your own division. That's partially why I never took the Chargers seriously to win a Super Bowl this year. I thought they were good. I saw them beat Kansas City. I thought they were a horrible matchup against Kansas City because just the style of offense they play versus the style of defense the Chiefs play, that all that is true. But everybody had an opportunity in the West. The Chiefs were 3-4. They had an opportunity to sneak past them, get past them. The Bills did too. They could have had a better record than Kansas City this year. They beat them. They had several game head starts. Yes, they're winning more games now, but their same problem is against who? They're playing great in the second half of the Bucs schedule. Then they beat the Panthers, Falcons, and Jets. And he didn't even play that great against any of those three teams I just mentioned. He completed 50% of his passes in those three games. He threw no touchdowns and 3 interceptions in the Falcons. I know you're going to cite the final score of those games, in which they won by double digits, which is fair. But it was a 3-point game against the Jets in the fourth quarter. So if we're starting to look at final scores of games, it does not exactly tell the whole story here. The two teams playing in this first matchup, we got about 2 hours till Bengals, Raiders, they're playing for whatever. Their franchises haven't won a playoff game in 19 and 31 years. They don't care if they just get, they probably will care as a team, but you shouldn't care if they get one win and then move on. Or hell, even just move on because they get knocked out. The Bengals were a year early, and the Raiders, behind what I think is an incredible coaching job by Rick Bisaccia, found their way into the postseason as the 5 seed in a year they had no business doing it. The Bills? We talk about windows with all kinds of teams. Talk about windows with the Chiefs. Talk about windows with the Packers, the Rams. What, the Bills window's just going to stay open forever? They had a chance last year in an AFC title game to get to a Super Bowl. They didn't do it. They got beat pretty handily. It was a one-sided game for a majority of it against Kansas City in that AFC title game last year. And if they're stuck in neutral, still trying to get past the Patriots, then they're right back to the exact same scenario they were in before. And then they're just stuck again. So when you start talking about pressure for these playoffs, you mentioned the Rams, you mentioned the Cowboys, you better mention the Bills. Because they deserve to be in that conversation, whether we just look at this and say, no, it's really just those two, because they put everything into it. The Bills have done everything in their power to find a way to get through the top of the AFC. If they can't even get past the team in their own division, that they finally beat in the division, right? Beat them in the second game, won the division overall. That's why they get to host this. But a rookie quarterback, who typically are 9-18 in their first NFL start, everything's in your favor except the coaching matchup. So this time you're just going to have to overcome that. I know that sounds like a big ask, because it is a little bit against Bill Belichick, who will find some way to make this game closer than it should ever be, because he's Bill Belichick. But you've got to get past that if you're going to make an argument that moving forward, your window isn't already closed. That's the position they're stuck in when they start their game about 6 hours from now. When we come back here on CBS Sports Radio, one AFC team can make a splash because they possess something very few other teams do.
We all know the soothing scent of Vicks Vapo Rub, the comforting scent families everywhere have come to trust. Whether you had a pesky cough and couldn't go to sleep, or you just needed a loving touch of care to help you feel better, Vicks Vapo Rub has always been there. It always made you feel better, and today, still does. Reach for Vicks Vapo Rub and wrap yourself with the calm and soothing relief only Vicks Vapo Rub can bring. Vicks Vapo Rub, trusted soothing vapors, always there for you.
It's not easy being the one everyone counts on to keep the facility running, no matter the weather or supply chain hiccups. But we get you, Raymond in Buffalo, and Maria in Miami, Jules in Minneapolis, and Stan in Central Indiana, taking control of everything that's under your control. At Grainger, we're here for you, with experienced branch staff at over 250 locations, so you get the product you're looking for. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Is that a horse?
Actually, it's a wild stallion. Since Navy Federal Credit Union's Platinum Card made it easier to tame our holiday debt, I wanted to see if I could tame something else. Help me saddle up. I need to pick the kids up from school.
With a low intro APR on balance transfers, the Platinum
Platinum credit card lets you take control of your debt. Learn more at NavyFederal.org/Platinum offer. Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members are the mission. Insured by NCUA. Want to get out of your dead-end job, but think you don't have time? Think again. Now you can complete the My Computer Career Evening program in 30 weeks.
Watch out, vehicle on shoulder ahead.
Shorter. You could start your new life as an IT pro in months, not years. More than just a school, My Computer Career helps you get into the industry by working with employers that have hired our students. Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation today. It's not rocket science, it's mycomputercareer.edu.
A new year comes with new excitement, new ambitions, new milestones. Is this the year you pop the question, have a child, celebrate a major anniversary? At Diamonds Direct, we're here for you, now more than ever. With our vast selection of exquisite hand-picked diamonds, our world-renowned designer jewelry collections, our industry-leading warranties and guarantees, and our people with a passion for helping you mark any occasion with something that's both meaningful and timeless. And our commitment to providing exceptional value is stronger than ever in the new year. Whether you're just starting out on a tight budget or whether you're splurging on the 30th anniversary gift, Diamonds Direct will make sure you get the price that you expect from America's premier direct diamond importer. Welcome to a new year and welcome to Diamonds Direct, where extreme value combines with the ultimate luxury shopping experience to create that truly magical moment for the milestones in your life. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion, on Severn Avenue, across from Lakeside Mall.
Individual rates, coverage, offerings, and savings may vary, subject to terms and conditions, not available in all areas. Small businesses are the backbone of America. Yet when it comes to workers' comp insurance, you rarely get the savings you deserve. That's because insurance companies tend to lump you in with other businesses, and you could get overcharged. At Pi Insurance, we're on a mission to change that. With Pi, you get a quote specific to your business, and you could save up to 30% with no hassle and no hidden fees. If you like savings, take 3 minutes to see how much you could save at trypi.com. Pi makes workers' comp insurance as easy as pie, with friendly representatives just a call away. No wonder customers rate our service excellent on Trustpilot. You work hard to build your business and keep your employees safe. You deserve more from your workers' comp provider. See how much you could save with Pi Insurance. Ask your agent for Pi or get a quote today at trypi.com. That's TRYPIE.com.
Jackson Hewitt needs you to know 3 things about filing taxes this year. 1, there are thousands of dollars worth of new tax credits on the table. 2, you have to file for them to make sure you get the right amount. 3, a Jackson Hewitt tax pro will help track down every credit you deserve. Tax credits for being a parent, taking care of a parent, going to school, and so much more. You don't want to miss out on thousands. Jackson Hewitt knows that. Discover thousands of tax credits and get your biggest refund guaranteed. Learn more at jacksonhewitt.com.
This is a metaphor for your business's journey. Sometimes it feels like you're going 100 miles an hour, barely keeping up. But to cruise through challenges, you need someone who's right there with you. That's what Dell Technologies advisors do. They have the Windows PCs and tech advice you need to get past whatever's in front of you and get where you want to go. Call an advisor today at 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL. A start to a simpler experience with Windows 11 Pro.
From our Jefferson Financial Federal Credit Union studios, it's CBS Sports Radio on WWL.
CBS Sports Radio.
Back in here on CBS Sports Radio, Cody filling in for the next 3.5 hours. So we'll get ready to get some NFL playoff action our way. Phone lines are open all day. 855-212-4227. We're talking about multiple NFL games. We're just 2 hours away from kickoff of the very first one today between the Bengals and the Raiders. I want to talk about that matchup in particular. But I said I'd take calls as we get them. Gary in Jacksonville has been waiting to talk a little bit about the 49ers. Gary, what's going on?
Hey, Cody, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I wanted to talk about the Bills game, too, please. The thing I'm most intrigued about this weekend is Dak Prescott. Since he got that big contract, you haven't really seen him in the postseason. I want to see is he able to carry a team. If they're not running the ball real effective with Zeke Elliott. Is he able to put the Cowboys on the back, a la Dan Marino, Joe Montana, or John Elway, and win a football game because of the great success he has? I'm not convinced. I think he's so inconsistent with the Cowboys, so up and down, especially now in the postseason. I think he's got to really tell. He's going to press, and he's going to make mistakes.
I appreciate the call, Gary. When I listen to what people talk about with Dak, I don't think it's unfair, because to this point, he hasn't done as much as what we're talking about. But also, like, we talk about Dak sometimes, like a completely unfair criticism of what he's done to this point, at least in his regular season career, right? He had 37 touchdowns and 10 picks this year, and almost 4,500 yards. He was good. He was really good. But to your point, Gary, that's why he's on that list of, like, teams with the most pressure. Is he's making a lot of money. That's not going away anytime soon. And he's facing a team that everybody is predicting to upset you. Like a 49ers team who's already outperformed what you've done in the playoffs the last few years, but with lesser talent at quarterback. And they've given him the resources. He has one of the better offensive lines in the NFL, and he has one of the better receiving groups in the NFL. And if you're going to have those things, you can't possibly make the argument that he should lose this game to the 49ers. I wouldn't be surprised if he makes mistakes, but I also think the Cowboys are going to win this game. Maybe it's just because everybody's predicting the 49ers to win this game, but they are one of those teams, I get it, they got flaws, and they did not play consistently at all this year, because they didn't, but they still have as much talent as the rest of those teams. And as much as we say they didn't play consistently, they still only lost 5 games this year. They got the same record as the Chiefs, a team we don't, and I get it because they went to back-to-back Super Bowls, don't doubt. I think Dak can still get it done. I last year said I thought Dak was a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. Now he has to start winning playoff games in order to do that, and stop losing the games he shouldn't, like the Broncos earlier this year, or whatever those games are. But still, I think that team possesses something that gives them a chance to move to a couple of different rounds of the playoffs. Everybody's problem is the same. Like, the Rams' problem, they might face the Packers. They all kind of run into the same issues. So there's no reason why the Cowboys shouldn't succeed this year, and because they got a coach that they maybe kind of like, they're just going to continue to run into those problems. Coming up in about 5 minutes, I'm going to tell you what the separation between the two leagues and why it seems like there's so many more teams in the NFC you can believe in the AFC, and why that's actually true. But about 10 minutes ago, Juju Smith-Schuster tweeted out, "God answered my prayers, and I've recovered from my season-ending shoulder injury earlier than expected. I can't believe to get another chance to take the field." Multiple reports saying now he will play in this game against the Chiefs coming up on Sunday. I'll tell you a little later in the show why I don't think that makes enough of a difference for them. But obviously, Juju Smith-Schuster auditioning for a lot of teams this upcoming offseason, and what will be a weak crop of free agent wide receivers, especially because of some of the other injuries that have happened, including Chris Godwin around the league. Juju Smith-Schuster expected to play this Sunday against the Kansas City Chiefs. I mentioned before the break I thought there was a team in the playoffs that possesses something that very few teams don't. You think I'm going to say the Chiefs because I'm in Kansas City, but I'm not. I mean, they possess it too, but that's not the point of this conversation. The conversation's more about Joe Burrow. I know we got into this Herbert versus Joe Burrow conversation and which one of these two guys you would start a franchise with, because that's a difficult conversation. Like, okay, which one do I think makes more sense to the franchise? And most of this year, I would have taken Justin Herbert for what it's worth, just because I've seen him do some things on the field. But what Burrow has, I saw a couple of weeks ago in Kansas City, that I think is incredibly valuable come playoff night. He seems completely unwavering and unflappable no matter how bad the circumstances is. And you're going to say a lot of playoff quarterbacks have that, a lot of Super Bowl caliber quarterbacks have that. Not like this. In that game against Kansas City, he was sacked 4 times and legitimately probably should have been sacked 8. And despite all of that, he still put points into the 30s. He kept firing downfield and getting hit while guys were in his face. Like, there are certain guys that once things start going wrong in a game, it unravels. Like, not normally with Justin Herbert. He's more the cerebral type, and I know we like the more animated version of those things. Cerebral types can work. Reese Montana, those guys, they've had success. Herbert's going to be great in this league from a passer perspective, despite the fact they somehow missed the playoffs this year. and lets himself down. I still think that might have something to do with coaching, especially on the offensive end and their offensive coordinator. But Joe Burrow seems this because on paper in this game it's coming up in 2 hours. The Raiders have a very clear advantage. They have one of the best pass rush teams in the entire NFL. Max Crosby has been incredible, but that's not their only guy. They have continued to get to the quarterback over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. And we know the Bengals line's a sieve. So why wouldn't the Raiders keep this game close just simply based on the fact of things you've seen in times past? It turns out good defensive lines against bad offensive lines can completely ruin offensive game plans. And that's because it doesn't seem like it bothers Joe Burrow. Other teams you can get the advantage of, and you can do that too. Like you can get in Derek Carr's face, and that'll end his day. You can get in Mac Jones' face, or just get him down 10 points, and it'll end his day. That's how most quarterbacks work. I'm not saying Joe Burrow is a statistically perfect quarterback, but the thing he does is no matter how much pressure's around him, no matter how bad it's going, it doesn't seem to affect his mentality in any stretch about exactly the way he plays. Like, that's what he possesses that other teams don't. Rodgers has that, Mahomes has that, Brady has that. So I get it. Well, maybe, 4? But then everybody else to me is in this no man's land, like, I'm Mac Jones. We've talked a lot about Derek Carr. Even Stafford, to a point. We've seen him go empty multiple times. We've seen their offense go silent multiple times across the board. And if that's the case, then, okay. I mean, yeah, maybe they'll have a hot game. It's not like I'm going to trust Jimmy Garoppolo to not fail if there's pressure. Or Kyler Murray. Not to say nobody can perform under pressure. I know Kyler Murray's stats against the blitz are really good. But it's just about, like, even if he gets sacked a bunch, and he probably will, even against the Raiders, it doesn't seem like it slows their offense down enough. A lot of this is what I compared to the Chiefs-Steelers game coming up on Sunday, which is one thing can be statistically true, but also not seemingly impact them the way it is. The Bengals are a terrible team at blocking Joe Burrow. He doesn't help them, but they're bad at it. But despite that, they're still a top 10 scoring offense in the NFL. For a stretch of the season, sometimes they're a top 5 scoring offense in the NFL. This is the same thing as I view the Steelers. The Steelers are the number 1 team. They got 55 sacks this year. 55. So that would tell you that they should be a good defensive team. If you have 55 sacks in a year, you lead the NFL in sacks, we immediately assume that that means you're good at defense. The Steelers aren't. They're near the bottom third of points allowed per game. How? All you do is sack the quarterback. Like, not just T.J. Watt, who tied the single-season sack record. They got 2 other guys in double digits. Like, they've got multiple guys across, 10 and 9. They got multiple guys across the line who could do it from anywhere, Hayward included. And they're still not good at defense. The Chiefs are 30th in sacks per game. And yet they are top 10 in points allowed per defense. Sometimes these stats, and that's about the Bengals in a second. Like, you might in your head say, okay, yeah, Joe Burrow's going to get sacked, so that means the Raiders have a chance to win this game because they'll cause pressure. What I'm telling you is no matter how much Joe Burrow gets sacked, it overall doesn't seem to derail their actual hope of winning a game. Maybe it should, but it absolutely does not. Continuously does not. And that's the thing that consistently stands out to me, especially as you go and watch them more and more and more. You start to realize that's not the case. And that's where we are in the AFC. That's why I'm saying all these nice things about the Bengals, but I still just think it's really Kansas City, the Bills, and to a lesser extent, although I won't completely rule them out, the Titans and the AFC. I think it's really between the two, the Chiefs and the Bills. 2 teams that might face each other coming up in the next round. But in the NFC, because of all the things we just talked about on that side, the NFC, I could legitimately see 5 of those teams, 4 of those teams going through. If I told you the Rams made the Super Bowl, would you be surprised? No, absolutely not. If I told you the Cowboys, absolutely not. Bucks, no. Packers, no. There are any number of teams. Maybe the 49ers, if I'm just trying to, give them a puncher's chance, I can include them in the conversation. But there's a huge split between the NFC and AFC side. That's where Burrow can actually take advantage. He can make a splash in this postseason because there aren't as many teams who seemingly would stand in your way for each possible round. You got what should be the second most favorable matchup in the first round of the AFC side, I think. Based on what you do well and what they do well, you should have a good advantage against the Raiders, a team that nobody, especially after everything that they went through in the middle of the season, nobody should anticipate getting through that. And yet, still somehow they did. Because just that's exactly how, that's how those teams that sneak up on you too. But in the AFC, Burrow can make some noise. The Bengals can make some noise because most of us just view it as a two-horse race. Because none of us take the Titans as seriously as maybe we should because they've beaten every single good team. But I still can't get past the things I said earlier about Ryan Tannehill. But in the NFC, and this is what I'm so excited for, and it kind of stinks, I guess, a little bit today because it's just AFC teams. Like, oh, come on, give me to the NFC side. I want to see if the Eagles can pull the upset. I want to see if the 49ers can pull the upset. I want to find out what that Cardinals-Rams game looks like in their third matchup after a couple in the regular season. But today is AFC Day, so we're going to find out whether or not the Bengals can make a statement early and whether or not how close they are. Because for a team that seems a year too early, if they aren't, they certainly should be able to get past the Raiders. The Raiders, the team that went through all this trouble, and despite that, have overcome a lot and been incredible, but that's the team you're supposed to get by. You're supposed to get by. We come back here on CBS Sports Radio. To me, there is a clear dichotomy in the AFC between one and the rest of the group. But first, let's get a sports update with Erica Herskowitz.
Watch out, vehicle on shoulder ahead.
Sports Flash.
Hey Cody, it's Wild Card Weekend in the NFL. 2 AFC wildcard games on the docket. Starts with the Raiders squaring off against the Bengals in Cincinnati, and it has been a long time since either one of these teams has won a playoff game. The Raiders' most recent postseason win was back in 2002, and the Bengals haven't won a playoff game since 1991. Tonight, after splitting a couple meetings in the regular season, the Bills and Patriots go at it for a third time in 7 weeks, and this time in Orchard Park, where Buffalo comes into this one having won the AFC East title for a second straight year. New England enters the tilt, the 6th seed in the AFC after finishing a game back. Kickoff set for 8:15 Eastern. Meanwhile, the Vikings requested permission to interview Buccaneers defensive coordinator Todd Bowles and Packers offensive coordinator Nathaniel Hackett for their vacant head coaching slot. The NFL Network reports the Dolphins plan to build their team around Tua Tagovailoa instead of trading him this offseason. According to reports, Miami's interest in getting Deshaun Watson is greatly diminished after the firing of head coach Brian Flores, who is leading that charge. The Akron Beacon-Journal reports Cleveland quarterback Baker Mayfield will have surgery on his left shoulder next week and is expected to be out 4 to 6 months. From the NBA, good news for Bulls guard Zach LaVine. He had an MRI today and it showed no significant damage on his left knee, so he'll be reevaluated later this week with a timeline. LaVine left last night's loss to the Warriors with the knee injury. Lonzo Ball's questionable for tonight's game against the Celtics with a sore knee. And after missing 7 games, Mavericks center Kristaps Porzingis cleared COVID protocol today, but he is not expected to play when the Mavs host the Magic tonight. 3 matinees in the NHL right now. Second period, the Predators and Bruins are tied at 2. Also in the second, the Hurricanes lead the Canucks 3-1. And first period in Elmont, New York, the Caps are in front of the Islanders 1-0. Top 25 college basketball finals from this afternoon. Northwestern upset number 10 Michigan State 64-62. Kansas State beat number 19 Texas Tech 62-51. Marquette surprised number 20 Seton Hall 73-72. And number 17 Xavier topped Creighton 80-73. And Hawaii head football coach Todd Graham announced his resignation after 2 seasons with the team after being accused of mistreating his players. I'm Erica Herskowitz.
Have a take. The Jim Rome Show. Weekday afternoons on CBS Sports Radio. From our Jefferson Financial Federal Credit Union studios, it's CBS Sports Radio on WWL.
Hey, Jim! Thanks for coming.
Are you kidding? I never miss one of your dinner parties. How's the new job?
We're growing fast, and I stopped working weekends, thanks to how much smoother everything runs on NetSuite by Oracle.
Fantastic. So we're still using QuickBooks.
Why haven't you upgraded to NetSuite?
We're making QuickBooks work, sort of.
Watch your language. The kids are right there. Sorry, Amy. NetSuite gives you visibility and control of your financials, inventory, HR, planning, budgeting, and more. NetSuite is everything you need to grow, all in one place. And 93% of surveyed businesses increase their visibility and control since upgrading from QuickBooks to NetSuite.
Yeah, sounds like it's time for me to switch to NetSuite. Over 27,000 businesses already already use NetSuite. For the new year, NetSuite has a new financing program for those ready to upgrade at netsuite.com/play. Head to netsuite.com/play for this special one-of-a-kind financing offer on the #1 financial system for growing businesses. netsuite.com/play.
Hey, I'm Andy. If you don't know me, it's probably because I'm not famous. But I did start a men's grooming company called Harry's. The idea for Harry's came out of a frustrating experience I had buying razor blades. Most brands were overpriced, overdesigned, and out of touch. At Harry's, our approach is simple. Here's our secret. We make sharp, durable blades and sell them at honest prices for as low as $2 each. We care about quality so much that we do some crazy things, like buy a world-class German blade factory. Obsessing over every detail means we're confident in offering a 100% quality guarantee. Millions of guys have already made the switch to Harry's, so thank you if you're one of them. And if you're not, we hope you give us a try with this special offer. Get a Harry's starter set with a 5-blade razor, weighted handle, shave gel, and a travel cover. All for just $3 plus free shipping. Just go to harrys.com and enter 1122 at checkout. That's harrys.com, code 1122. Enjoy!
Hey Greenway fans, join us inside Avron B. Fogelman Arena, the Devlin Fieldhouse, on Saturday, January 29th for a Tulane basketball doubleheader. At 11 o'clock, men's hoops takes on the Wichita State Shockers. Then the women take the floor against East Carolina at 3 o'clock. Don't wait. Get your tickets for these games now by calling 504-861-WAVE or going online to TulaneTix.com. January 29th, doubleheader day in Uptown New Orleans. Don't miss out on any of the action. Roll WAVE.
At Mike Brenner Injury Attorneys, we know that car wrecks don't take the weekends off, and neither do we. If you've been hurt in a wreck over the weekend, don't wait until Monday to get the help you need right now. We have people standing by.
Continue straight for 45 minutes to I-10 east toward Pensacola.
Get the medical attention you need. You don't have to wait until Monday to call an attorney. Call me, Mike Brander. We're the 24/7 injury attorney, and we're available to get you the help you need right now.
Mike Brander for 1-3-1-5-1-1-1-1. Results may vary. Offices in Metairie and Hammond. ECLA number 2319.
Still searching for a meaningful career with a company you can grow with? Great news! Bobby Hebert's Cajun Cannon Restaurant is hiring. Positions include cooks, servers, and bartenders with starting pay up to $13 an hour. Benefits include student loan reimbursement, child care reimbursement, 401k, and health insurance. If you truly stand out among your peers, then Bobby Hebert's Cajun Cannon Restaurant wants to talk to you. Apply online at BobbyHeberts.com or stop by the restaurant on Veterans in Metairie.
Every day, thousands of kids enter a local Children's Miracle Network hospital, many of them fighting for their lives. Donate and show your support at cmnhospitals.org because kids can't wait. They need our help today. Visit cmnhospitals.org.
Plan the retirement you've always dreamed of. Listen to Your Money Matters Saturday mornings at 7 here on WWL, the news, talk, and sports powerhouse of the Gulf South.
Rejuvenate your days with Rejuvame. RejuvameMedical.com.
My name is Tom Thornton.
And my name is Cindy Thornton. We've been married 38 years. We're retired, and this is how we live united.
We play golf and we travel, but we also decided we were going to give to and volunteer with United Way at our community free health clinic.
I do the nursing at the clinic.
I work the front office, checking in patients, greeting them, making them feel comfortable.
United Way is how we contribute, because we know our time and money are going to the right places, the places that need it most and implement it best.
Judging by the thank yous we get at the clinic, I'd say we're doing the right thing with our retirement, too.
We even get a few bless yous. It's incredible.
We're Tom and Cindy Thornton. We volunteer at our community free health clinic, but we don't just wear the shirt.
We live it.
Give, advocate, volunteer, live united. Go to liveunited.org. Brought to you by United Way and the Ad Council.
We now join CBS Sports Radio from our Jefferson Financial Federal Credit Union studios on WWL.
Need a place to talk sports? You've come to the right place. CBS Sports Radio.
Cody Tapp here in the Rocket Mortgage Studio. Thanks for joining me up until 5 o'clock. Then I'll hand things off to my guy, Harrington Harrison. Phone lines will be open all day, 855-212-4227. You can follow me on Twitter at Cody B. Tapp. Love to interact with you there, as well as the phone line, as we are here for Super Wild Card Weekend. Yes, there's actual football today, actual football that matters. And I'll be honest with you, because I'm in Kansas City.
Use the left 2 lanes to keep left.
Same Jews.
Use the right lane to continue to I-10 East Port Mobile.
They've got a lot more weight to them.
In 500 feet, make a U-turn. Make a U-turn on Washington Avenue. Then use the right lane to exit right to I-10 East Port Mobile.
AFC about where
turn left, then use the right lane to exit right to I-10 East Port Mobile.
One more time. Let's talk to Mo in San Diego. He's got a few thoughts on the Cowboys. What's up, Mo?
Turn left, then turn left.
I'm trying to figure out what narrative.
Turn right, then turn right. Turn right on Big Ridge Road, then turn left on Washington Avenue. Turn left on Washington Avenue, then use the right lane to exit right to I-10 East Port Mobile.
Josh Allen makes a lot of money now. You made it that one AFC title game. Can you actually do it? Can you actually do it? Can you actually get to a Super Bowl? Now,
See you next time.
Use the right lane to exit right to I-10 East Port Mobile.
You've been listening to Loyola Wolfpack Basketball Live.
Maybe just one in a whole crowd that God has broken up the power around.
we know that.
In 700 feet, make a U-turn.
Okay, fine.
Use the left lane to make a U-turn on Tucker Road.
That doesn't mean anything now. We know Belichick can win in the postseason, but can Mac Jones? Like, would you like to prove that you can do something? The Chiefs are legitimately trying to keep a dynasty alive, and the rest of the teams are just trying to prove they can win anything in the playoffs. 2 teams have gone to the AFC title game. That's it. You got less playoff games combined than Patrick Mahomes has, and he's not even 27 yet. Like, all these teams...
Continue straight for 40 minutes to I-10 East Port Pensacola.
Like, what are you going to do? Like, if you look at the NFC side, tell me who has more experience than you. I guess Jimmy G, because he went to a Super Bowl. Come on, it's Jimmy G. It's not Jalen Hurts. The only answer is Brady, and we know that. And Aaron Rodgers. And Aaron Rodgers is riding this wave of 10 years of, are you going to get one more? If you're going to go down as one of the 5 greatest quarterbacks of all time, are you planning on getting that second one? Because your team keeps falling short in the playoffs here lately. And they had a couple years they just didn't make it. They just didn't make it to the playoffs. Stafford barely been, Kyler, nothing, right? Your guy actually starts to stack up with he just experiences the rest of these guys. They put plenty of talent around him. Where can it be? And that's how I feel about the AFC. Like, they're a talented team. Bills are a talented team. Titans are a talented team. And yet they find themselves in the same boat of, like, can we even get past this stage so that we can stay in this conversation? Because if not, then maybe the Bengals will be you next year. And then you don't get to be in the conversation anymore. And other teams with younger quarterbacks who are doing bigger things. And maybe the Chargers figure out their world. And then you're just kind of riding this circle over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. And there's no real good answer for how to get out of this. 855-212-4227. Cody Tapp here on CBS Sports Radio. You can follow me at Cody B. Tapp on Twitter. In about 10 minutes, we'll have Matt Verderame of Fansided.com talking all things playoffs, including what the Rams have on the line. But there could be a receiver on the move. Calvin Ridley For the Atlanta Falcons, more reporting out this morning about their situation. They remain in contact with him, according to reports. But there is still a feeling amongst national reporters, including Mike Garofalo, who says it feels like a separation could still be coming. I think in the perfect situation, the Atlanta Falcons think that they can convince Calvin Ridley to stay, and they feel like they should. You might remember he took a mental health break over the course in the early part of the year, and then has stayed out now for the rest. And I got to be honest, if you're the Falcons, yeah, you want to hold on to a guy at 1,300 yards 2 years ago and look like a young, promising, super fast, athletic wide receiver. But if he's not happy being in your organization at some point, and especially if he's suffering from mental health issues, at some point you better move on. What this could change is a lot across the NFL. Think about all the teams and how much more serious you take them if they add a guy like Calvin Ridley all of a sudden. And he gets on the field. He can play. Like you got a quarterback and he can play. Because certainly Kansas City would be making that call, still looking for a number 2. They've been riding with Byron Pringle and McCole Hardman and DeMarcus Robinson all year. So they'd be in the mix of teams who'd be having that conversation.
Some rain, and that rain will be heavy at times tomorrow night. That could lead to street and highway flooding, and that's probably the greater concern, at least in and around the city. Strong winds as well. We get some winds gusting past 50 miles per hour along the coast. That could lead to some damage. Also the threat for coastal flooding. Areas to the north and west of 287, the snow hangs on a little bit longer. Certainly some slippery travel for a time, but even there it should go over to plain rain. Then the storm pulls away on Monday, an early high of 42. Right now in Central Park, 20 with sunshine. Will fall back to 12 tonight in Midtown. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist John Feerick on New York's weather station, 1010 winds.
18 degrees right now in South Ozone Park, 19 in both Englewood, New Jersey and Allendale. Winds news time 2:53.
Valentine's Day. Are you ready? Here's an idea. Go to BlueNile.com. They have diamonds and jewelry in styles she'll love and better price. Fast, easy, and of course, they offer free returns. And for the next few days, Odyssey listeners can save $50 on purchases of $500 or more site-wide at BlueNile.com. Just go to Blue Nile and use the code RADIO to save. That's BlueNile.com and use the code RADIO to save.
Dig your vinyl, man. My budget doesn't. Calling time on collecting. Don't give it up. State Farm has options to get you a surprisingly great rate. Rock on. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Call or go to statefarm.com for a quote today.
Hi everyone, it's Rodney Anderson with Supreme Lending. Every single day I have people call my office looking to do a cash out refinance, and they've been working with another lender for 60, 90, or 120 days, and they're not even closed yet. If you find yourself in this situation and you're trying to take cash out to pay off credit card debt, send the kids to college, or do home improvements, call me today at 1-800-EXPRESS or apply online at rodneyanderson.com.
With approved credit, terms subject to change without notice. Equal housing lender, NMLS ID 2129. Not affiliated with a government entity. MLO, NMLS ID 196730. 3000 Village Parkway, number 400, Highland Village, Texas, 75077.
Winds news time 2:54. These are the stories of
Watch out, vehicle on shoulder ahead.
This week's 1010 Winds Difference Maker, sponsored by Oxford Health Plans from United Healthcare.
This is no ordinary bakery. This is Rising Above Bakery in Rockland County, and its mission is pretty spectacular. Owner Sherry Ruveni Ulrich found extraordinary things were happening in her kitchen while she was baking. It wasn't the cookies. It was the dramatic impact the baking process was having on her nonverbal autistic students. Shiri is a speech therapist who built a life-affirming confidence into her recipes.
They're doing everything from scratch, and it's pretty amazing to see how they grow.
Shiri has 7 trainee bakers who make cookies, crackers, and bread. She says they also fill her kitchen with chatter, singing, and laughter. Rising Above Bakery and owner Shiri Ruveni Ulrich, who found baking and speech therapy go together to make a dramatic difference in her students' lives. Ben Memorak, 1010 Winds News.
Winds news time 2:55. Well, right now, Brooklyn District Attorney Eric Gonzalez, along with the NYPD and community leader Reverend Melvin Boone and the God Squad, are holding a gun buyback in Flatbush at the Vanderveer Park United Methodist Church. That's at 3114 Glenwood Road. It's right on Junction. This is in an effort to rid the city streets of dangerous and unnecessary illegal guns and the hell they cause our city, no questions asked. Gonzalez spoke to 1010 Winds about how
watch out, vehicle on shoulder ahead.
Really easy for anyone who knows there's a gun in the house and they want to get rid of it. No questions asked.
You come in, you'll be given a $200 gift card for each handgun that you turn in, up to $600, and you'll also be given an iPad.
Again, that gun buyback is right on Flatbush Junction at the Vanderveer Park United Methodist Church, 3114 Glenwood Road, until 4 p.m. Wins News Time, 2:56. Time now for Bloomberg Money Watch on 1010 Wins.
There is strong global demand for leisure travel.
Watch out, vehicle on shoulder ahead.
As people are just waiting to get the green light.
When restrictions go down, people start traveling, so I'm hopeful for the future.
Glenn Fogel says confusing international rules are a problem.
What are the rules? Which country? What do you have to do? What are you allowed to do or not? And the sad thing is, I suspect most of this really isn't impacting the rate of virus infections.
Fogel says his own experience at a hotel that was hit by staff shortages showed that people are understanding.
Nobody said, well, I'm leaving the hotel. Yeah, service is a little bit longer in the dining area, but the people are okay with that. People want to travel, they're going to travel, and there will be sufficient supply to be able to make it happen.
And the safer people feel, the more likely they will be to travel.
We're just hoping so much that people would continue to get those vaccines. That's the thing that's going to most move the dial in terms of making travel come back.
Bloomberg Money Watch at 26 and 56 past every hour. I'm Jeff Bellinger for 1010 Wins.
Wins News Time, 2:57.
Love the mochas here.
Too bad my budget doesn't.
Sarah, don't give it up. State Farm has options to get you a surprisingly great rate.
Thanks, Jake. Next round's on me.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Call or go to statefarm.com for a quote today.
Hi everyone, it's Rodney Anderson with Supreme Lending. Every single day I have multiple people call my office that have been working on a refinance with another lender for 60, 90, or even 120 days. It's time to fire that lender and pick up the phone and call us at 1-800-EXPRESS. Our goal is to close our refinances in 20 days or less, and we're doing it every single day.
With approved credit, terms subject to change without notice. Equal housing lender, NMLS ID 2129. Not affiliated with a government entity. MLO, NMLS ID 196730. 3000 Village Parkway, number 400, Highland Village, Texas 75077.
Hey Texas, Dave Ramsey here. Let's talk teeth for a minute. You either love yours, don't like yours, or miss yours. Whether it's the result of bad genetics, a bad decision, or just bad luck, missing teeth can keep you from enjoying the life you deserve. It affects your diet, your appearance, and your self-confidence. So, what's the solution? Dental implants from Dr. Jeff Buski of Granbury Dental Center. His mission is to improve patient health, appearance, and self-confidence. Dr. Buski is highly skilled in the placement and restoration of dental implants. He's the doctor you call. So, whether you're missing one or multiple teeth, you want a doctor with experience, advanced technology, and a high success rate. That's Dr. Jeff Buski. Life's too short to not love your smile. Call Dr. Jeff Buski today. 817-776-5653. That's 817-776-5653.
More people get their news from 1010 Wins than from any other radio station in the nation. Haral Patel and Angela Loria are service aides. Carol Noonan is our writer. Eileen LaPalmer is at the editor's desk, and I am Stephanie Officer.
All news, all the time. This is 1010 Wins, New York.
Good afternoon. It's 20 degrees at 3 o'clock. I'm Sonia Rincon, and here's what's happening. A suspect is being questioned after a deadly subway pushing in Times Square. Our Carol Dioria is on the scene. It is freezing today, and while that will improve this weekend, we've got a storm on the way. That warehouse fire in Passaic still smoldering and making for air quality concerns, but it was under control before it could become really disastrous as it spread to a business full of pool chemicals. A volcanic eruption in the South Pacific has triggered a tsunami advisory for the West Coast. New York's eviction moratorium expires today. In sports, NFL wildcard round, the Raiders versus the Bengals this afternoon. The Bills hosting the Patriots tonight. The Knicks are in Atlanta. The Nets host New Orleans. 1010 Wins AccuWeather clear tonight, a low of 12 degrees. Winds News Time 3:01. Traffic and transit on the ones, and here's Russ Meyer.
Sonia, on the east side, some slowdowns on the southbound Harlem River Drive approaching the RFK Bridge, and on the FDR, the pace picks up but then slows down from 106th on down towards 79th Street, where we have a report of a crash. Beyond that point, the FDR looks good. West Side Highway and Henry Hudson Parkway, no problems. Here's what you need to know about the bridges and tunnels getting yourself into Manhattan. The 59th Street Bridge having a tough go. Delays on the upper and lower levels. Meanwhile, the Queens Midtown Tunnel is looking good in both directions if you don't mind forking over the toll. Also, we'll check out the drive in Brooklyn. Not much to tell you about, but we do have slowdowns on the westbound side of the BQE from Flushing Avenue to Atlantic Avenue, and on the inbound Gowanus eastbound BQE as well from the Prospect to Atlantic Avenue. Here's what we see on Long Island's Big Three. The news is good on the southern state eastbound traffic easing coming into the Meadowbrook following a right lane crash, and also on the northern state and the southern state. Nothing of note. Sunday parking rules for tomorrow. This report sponsored by Princeton Jeep. Princeton Jeep on State Road is celebrating their grand opening now with deals on over 250 pre-owned vehicles in stock. Stop in anytime or see Princeton Jeep's inventory online at cdjrofprinceton.com. Traffic and transit every 10 minutes on the ones. Breaking traffic alerts whenever they happen. I'm Russ Meyer on 1010 Wins.
A deadly, terrifying, and unprovoked attack on a Times Square subway platform this morning. A 40-year-old woman was killed and a man is being questioned.
The victim suffered a horrendous death. She was killed instantly when she was struck by a train at the Times Square station. The police say it was at 20 minutes to 10 in the morning. She was waiting on the platform of the southbound R train, and that's when, for some unknown reason, a man pushed her onto the tracks, and she was hit by the train as it pulled into the station. The woman is unidentified. The police arrived quickly, and they say they took a person of interest into custody for questioning. Carol Dioria, 1010 Wins at the Times Square station.
Mayor Adams and police officials will have an update on this. Stay with 1010 Wins for the very latest. Wins News Time 3:03. It is freezing out there. Let's get our forecast live from 1010 Wins AccuWeather meteorologist John Fearing.
Yeah, absolutely frigid this afternoon. Coldest day of the winter, really. Maybe we might get another day or two like this, but it's going to be one of the coldest for sure. Tonight we'll dip back into the low teens. The wind does die off. Tomorrow won't be as bad. We're up to 33, and then our winter storm moves in from the south and west. It does likely begin as a brief period of snow tomorrow evening, maybe 1 to 3 hours of wet snow for the city, nearby suburbs, a slushy coating to an inch, but it does quickly go over to rain. The main story from this, at least for the city along the coast, is going to be the heavy rain, the potential for street and highway flooding tomorrow night, as well as those strong winds that can cause localized damage, and that wind will be piling up the water as well. So there is the threat for coastal flooding with that storm tomorrow night. So
could be worse. Could be a blizzard. Thanks, John. The cold is making some jobs even harder than usual. Take, for example, outdoor drive-through COVID testing sites. Nancy Palomara is the Vice President of Diagnostics and Therapeutics at Holy Name in Teaneck and spoke with 1010 Wins reporter Glenn Schuck.
Most people certainly express their gratitude, and they're really happy. This drive-through testing is really phenomenal from the standpoint that you know, if you're sick, even if you're not sick, you get to wait in your car. You're not staying on a line outside. You're not wondering if you're going to get a test or not. You know you have an appointment, and that's important as well. We really have tried to do both testing and vaccine as much as possible with an appointment process.
And ahead of the freezing weather, some folks stocked up on groceries. Experts say that, coupled with supply chain issues, could make bare store shelves a common sighting for a while. Wins News Time 3:05. That massive fire overnight and this morning in Passaic could have been a lot worse. Firefighters spent hours battling the 11-alarm fire in an industrial area. Started in a warehouse for a company that makes casino furniture and equipment, but then spread to the Qualco pool plant, which was loaded with chemicals. Passaic Mayor Hector Laura has been providing updates on Facebook Live.
As a direct result of the remarkable response of firefighters, emergency responders, they were able to contain the fire, and it did not reach the main chemical plant.
But they are still monitoring air quality. There was smoke that spread for miles. You could even smell it in the city. Officials so far say tests show the air is not especially dangerous, but people in the area should keep their windows closed. No serious injuries, thankfully. One firefighter was taken to the hospital with a minor injury. The cause of the fire is under investigation. Wins News Time 3:06. A tsunami advisory for the west coast of the U.S. after an underwater volcano erupted near Tonga. causing shock waves in the water.
It's an advisory that stretches the entire west coast of the U.S. from California up through Canada and Alaska. The advisories in California are not for inundation, but mainly larger waves and stronger currents. People are being told to move away from beaches. But in Tonga, reports are large tsunami waves went crashing on shore after the underwater volcano erupted. In Hawaii, they saw waves that were about a foot high.
With correspondent Alex Stone, so far there are no reports of any deaths or injuries linked to the eruption or its aftermath. Winds News Time 3:07.
Dig your vinyl, man. My budget doesn't. Calling time on collecting. Don't give it up. State Farm has options to get you a surprisingly great rate. Rock on. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Call or go to statefarm.com for a quote today.
The problem with New Year's resolutions? They're hard to keep and not so much fun. But if you're looking to make better financial decisions in the new year, here's a radio show that can help you get there and enjoy the ride. Tune in this weekend for Everyday Wealth with Soledad O'Brien and Gene Chatsky, presented by Edelman Financial Engines. Each week, award-winning journalist Soledad O'Brien and personal finance expert Gene Chatsky will explore how our financial decisions shape our everyday lives and why wealth is about more than just money. They'll be joined by Edelman Financial Engine's wealth planners and other guests to help demystify challenges like generational planning, retirement income, and tax-efficient investing. New episodes of Everyday Wealth will air every weekend and will be available on major podcast platforms. For airtimes, visit everydaywealth.com.
Winds News Time 3:08. A violent start to the weekend in the city with two deadly shootings just hours apart. The first happened around 10 last night. Police were called to an apartment at the Lillian Wald houses on the Lower East Side. They found 30-year-old Devon Venable dead with gunshot wounds to his back and neck. The second shooting happened just before 5 this morning on Broadway in Brooklyn near Jefferson Avenue in Bushwick. A 44-year-old man was found with wounds to his neck and torso. He was taken to Wyckoff Heights Medical Center where he was pronounced dead. His identity has not been released, pending notification of his family. So far, police have not released a possible motive or made any arrests. Police are searching for a suspect in a mass shooting outside a music venue in Eugene, Oregon last night. 6 people were taken to hospitals. 1 is in critical condition. The shooting erupted outside the music venue while rappers Lil Bean and Zay Bang were performing inside. Police still have no motive. Eugene Police Chief Chris Skinner on a possible suspect.
All we know at this point is we have a male in a hoodie that was seen running westbound on 8th right after the shooting. We think that's our suspect.
Skinner says many of the witnesses to the shooting are not cooperating with the investigation. Winds News Time 3:09.
Dig your vinyl, man. My budget doesn't. Calling time on collecting. Don't give it up. State Farm has options to get you a surprisingly great rate. Rock on. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Call or go to statefarm.com for a quote today.
Wealth isn't simply about money. It's more than just the numbers in your portfolio or your bank account. Wealth is all the everyday things that money enables you to do, the goals you're after, things you want to accomplish, and the life you want to lead. So how do you get there? Tune in this weekend for Everyday Wealth with Soledad O'Brien and Gene Chatsky, presented by Edelman Financial Engines. Each week, award-winning journalist Soledad O'Brien and personal finance expert Gene Chatsky will explore how our financial decisions shape our everyday lives. They'll be joined by Edelman Financial Engine's wealth planners and other guests to demystify challenges like tax-efficient investing, retirement planning, and more. They'll share knowledge and tools to manage your finances today and build wealth for tomorrow. Join the conversation. Everyday Wealth airs each weekend and will be available on major podcast platforms. For airtimes, visit everydaywealth.com.
Winds News Time 3:10. Traffic and AccuWeather next on 1010 Win.
Hey Texas, Dave Ramsey here. Let's talk teeth for a minute. You either love yours, don't like yours, or miss yours. Whether it's the result of bad genetics, a bad decision, or just bad luck. Missing teeth can keep you from enjoying the life you deserve. It affects your diet, your appearance, and your self-confidence. So, what's the solution? Dental implants from Dr. Jeff Buski of Granbury Dental Center. His mission is to improve patient health, appearance, and self-confidence. Dr. Buski is highly skilled in the placement and restoration of dental implants. He's the doctor you call. So, whether you're missing one or multiple teeth, you want a doctor with experience, advanced technology, and a high success rate. That's Dr. Jeff Buski. Life's too short to not love your smile. Call Dr. Jeff Buski today. 817-776-5653. That's 817-776-5653.
It's news time 3:11. Now it's time for traffic and transit. Here's Russ Meyer.
Looking at the drive in Manhattan for you, southbound side of the Harlem River Drive. Little snag at the RFK Bridge. Bigger snag is past that point. Continues slow all the way down to 79th Street where we have word of a crash. Now, once you get past that, it is all clear all the way down to the Brooklyn Battery Tunnel. And northbound will not be an issue. West Side Highway and Henry Hudson Parkway, they're doing okay. Also, here's what you need to know about the bridges and tunnels. GWB inbounds at about 15 outbound. 20 to 25, except for the crosswalks, that's closer to 30 minutes. You will have little trouble at the Lincoln Tunnel inbound and outbound. Inbound Hollands at about 10 to 15, outbound 15 to 20. And also, I want to give you a heads up, the 59th Street Bridge, it has been jammed on both directions. Jammed on both levels going into Manhattan. Queensbound is doing all right. 59th Street Bridge shouldn't be much trouble for you. Got a breakdown in New Jersey on the Parkway northbound side. This is Silver Heights at 145 for Route 280. Left lane is closed off. Indeed, that is snarling traffic. Sunday parking rules for tomorrow, and this support sponsored by Caribbean Food Delights. I'm Russ Meyer. Our next report, 3:21 on 1010 Winds.
Winds news time 3:12. Now the 1010 Winds AccuWeather 4-day forecast. Here's meteorologist John Furyk.
Wind out there right now, still gusting up near 20 miles per hour. That'll subside as we head into tonight. A mostly clear sky, very cold, down to 12. Tomorrow won't be as bad. We're up to 33. Some sun giving way to clouds. Unfortunately, it does look like we're going to see a winter storm move in here tomorrow evening with some snow that could lead to some slippery travel for a time. But it's probably a 1 to 3 hour period of snow and around the city, and then it quickly goes over to plain rain. There can be a slushy coating to an inch before that changeover. Temperatures climb into the low 40s tomorrow night in the city and along the coast. Areas of the north and west at 287. Snow hangs on a little bit longer, 1 to 3 inches before that changeover to rain. But rain can be heavy enough tomorrow night to lead to some street and highway flooding. We're also going to have potential for damaging wind gusts along the coast, threat for coastal flooding. The storm pulls away on Monday, maybe leftover flurries in the afternoon, and then dry for Tuesday. Right now in Central Park, 20 with some sun. Going down to 12 tonight in Midtown. AccuWeather's John Furyk on New York's weather station, 1010 Winds.
Winds news time 3:13. New York's eviction moratorium expired today. It was put in place more than 20 months ago at the start of the pandemic. It's already been extended twice. Pierre E. Debus is a managing partner at Romer Debus and spoke with 1010 Winds. He says the eviction moratorium can't go on forever.
I'm hopeful that we go back to some way of life of normalcy at some point, and paying your rent and suffering the repercussion of an eviction.
To show the manager their proof of vaccination as required by New York City's indoor dining mandate. And the police were called. 4 people, 3 men and a woman were arrested and charged with trespassing. Similar protests have happened at other restaurants in Midtown, but it's unclear if the same group was responsible. Winds news time 3:15.
love the mochas here.
Too bad my budget doesn't.
Sarah, don't give it up. State Farm has options to get you a surprisingly great rate.
Thanks, Jake. Next round's on me.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Call or go to statefarm.com for a quote today.
Hi everyone, it's Rodney Anderson with Supreme Lending. Every single day I have people call my office looking to do a cash out refinance, and they've been working with another lender for 60, 90, or 120 days, and they're not even closed yet. If you find yourself in this situation and you're trying to take cash out to pay off credit card debt, send the kids to college, or do home improvements, call me today at 1-800-EXPRESS or apply online at rodneyanderson.com.
With approved credit, terms subject to change without notice. Equal housing lender, NMLS ID 2129, not affiliated with a government entity. MLO, NMLS ID 196730, 3000 Village Parkway, number 400, Highland Village, Texas 75077.
You've spent the last 10 years or more building a successful business, but the past year has been tough. Maybe you've fallen behind on payroll taxes and the IRS is trying to come after your business or you personally. Hi, I'm Dallas tax attorney Nick Namath with the law offices of Nick Namath. If you're facing IRS wage levies, bank levies, or tax liens, call me, Nick Namath, today. Your first visit is free and always confidential. Call Nick Namath, the DFW tax attorney, at 972-484-0-TAX. That's 972-484-0829, or go to myiRSteam.com.
20 degrees going down to 12 tonight in Midtown.
The problem with New Year's resolutions? They're hard to keep and not so much fun. But if you're looking to make better financial decisions in the new year, here's a radio show that can help you get there and enjoy the ride. Tune in this weekend for Everyday Wealth with Soledad O'Brien and Gene Chatsky, presented by Edelman Financial Engines. Each week, award-winning journalist Soledad O'Brien and personal finance expert Gene Chatsky will explore how our financial decisions shape our everyday lives and why wealth is about more than just money. They'll be joined by Edelman Financial Engine's wealth planners and other guests to help demystify challenges like generational planning, retirement income, and tax-efficient investing. New episodes of Everyday Wealth will air every weekend and will be available on major podcast platforms. For air times, visit everydaywealth.com.
Wins News Time 3:17. Novak Djokovic is in immigration detention again after Australian authorities revoked his visa for a second time. Tomorrow, the country's federal court will take up his legal challenge to avoid deportation for being unvaccinated.
Detained again, Novak Djokovic is set to argue at a court hearing tomorrow against the Australian government's order to deport him. The immigration minister revoked his visa on health and good order grounds because Djokovic is unvaccinated.
They believe that him remaining in Australia would incite anti-vaccination sentiment.
Djokovic admitted his agent gave incorrect information on his immigration form and that he took part in an interview and photo shoot despite knowing he tested positive for COVID-19.
That's correspondent Roxana Severi. If Djokovic loses his appeal, he would likely be removed from the country immediately and could be barred from re-entering for another 3 years. Wins News Time 3:08.
If you missed this week's Money Matters show, you can listen to our podcast on iTunes or find it on rpoa.com. What you missed could impact how you view your Social Security, how to invest and protect your retirement, and other tips designed to make your money last as long as you do. Go to iTunes and search Money Matters with Ken Moraith, or go to rpoa.com, retirementplannersofamerica.com.
Hey Texas, Dave Ramsey here. Let's talk teeth for a minute. You either love yours, don't like yours, or miss yours. Whether it's the result of bad genetics, a bad decision, or just bad luck, missing teeth can keep you from enjoying the life you deserve. It affects your diet, your appearance, and your self-confidence. So what's the solution? Dental implants from Dr. Jeff Buski of Granbury Dental Center. His mission is to improve patient health, appearance, and self-confidence. Dr. Buski is highly skilled in the placement and restoration of dental implants. He's the doctor you call. So, whether you're missing one or multiple teeth, you want a doctor with experience, advanced technology, and a high success rate. That's Dr. Jeff Buski. Life's too short to not love your smile. Call Dr. Jeff Buski today. 817-776-5653. That's 817-776-5653.
Holding holding decision makers accountable on Newsline with Bridget Quinn. Weekdays from 10 to 2 on your all-news station. 1010 Wins.
All news, all the time. This is 1010 Wins. You give us 22 minutes, we'll give you the world.
Good afternoon. It's 20 degrees at 3:20. I'm Sonia Rincon, and here's what's happening. A woman is dead after a man shoved her in front of an R train in Times Square. A man is in custody. Bitter cold today and a storm coming, but so is a bit of a warm-up. We'll have the latest AccuWeather forecast. A catastrophe may have been averted in Passaic as cleanup and an investigation are underway following a massive fire last night that lasted into the morning. Cruise ships are on their own now when it comes to vaccine, mask, and testing rules. Companies can decide what they want their customers to do. A gun buyback is underway in Flatbush, coordinated by the Brooklyn DA's office. In sports, NFL wildcard action, the Raiders versus the Bengals this afternoon, and the Bills hosting the Patriots tonight. The Islanders are hosting Washington. The Rangers are in Philadelphia tonight. 1010 Wins AccuWeather, clear this evening, getting down to 12 degrees. Winds News Time 3:21. Traffic and transit on the ones, and here's Russ Meyer.
We have slowdowns on the southbound side of the FDR to tell you about. First, they begin at the RFK Bridge and extend down to 79th Street with word of an accident. Beyond that, though, everything okay. West Side Highway and Henry Hudson Parkway, not a problem for you. Got some delays in the Bronx on the Cross Bronx, westbound side from the Sheridan out to the Deegan, and eastbound snarled from the Deegan out towards Webster Avenue. The Deegan, as northbound delays coming into Yankee Stadium, just a little quick slowdown. However, we have a longer slowdown from Fordham Road up towards right around Van Cortlandt Park, where we have a report of a crash. You can go with Bronx River Parkway to skip that, or Henry Hudson Parkway. Meanwhile, you know that the Hutch and the New England Thruway are also doing okay. Here's what we see on Long Island's Big Three. Everything has been all right on the LIE, the northern state, and the southern state. Doing all right. Here's what you need to know about the bridges and tunnels. Nothing of note for the Verrazano, Goethals Bayonne Bridge at the Outerbridge Crossing. Sunday parking rules in effect for tomorrow. This report is sponsored by Jackpocket. Jackpocket lets you play official state lottery games on your phone. Use code RADIO for a free Mega Millions or Powerball ticket. Must be 18 or older to play. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY. Please visit jackpocket.com/GOS for full terms of service. I'm Russ Meyer. Our next report 3:31 on 1010 Wins.
A horrific, nightmarish attack in Times Square. A woman pushed in front of a train, and a suspect is being questioned.
The victim was waiting on the platform for a southbound R train. In an instant, her life came to an abrupt halt. She was a 40-year-old Asian woman. The police say for no apparent reason, a man pushed her to the tracks just as the train was pulling into the station. She was killed instantly. Harvey was bewildered by the news.
I almost feel like I'm living in two different New Yorks, because even where I live at, like, I don't see stuff like this happening, but like it's always down in the city that this stuff happens. Like I'm baffled.
In 5.8 miles, continue on I-10 East Port Pensacola.
The parent's statement said those who are a danger to themselves and others cannot remain in the subway or on the city streets. He said the city should provide help and services to those who need it. Carol Diori at 1010 Wins at the Times Square station.
Wins News Time 3:23. It is bitterly cold out there now, and there's a storm coming. Let's get our forecast from 1010 Wins AccuWeather meteorologist John Furyk.
Bone-chilling cold tonight. Definitely need to bundle up if you're out and about. Tomorrow won't be as bad. We're up into the low 30s. We'll see snow break out tomorrow evening. It looks like a quick period of snow, maybe 1 to 3 hours of snow in and around the 5 boroughs that could lead to some slippery travel, but quickly goes over to rain, and some of that rain will be heavy enough tomorrow night to lead to street and highway flooding. Certainly it looks like there is the threat as well for some coastal flooding with a strong onshore wind that will be gusting past 50 miles per hour, and that could cause some power outages.
Parts of the Midwest got 10 inches of snow last night, with high wind making for tough travel conditions. This driver in Minnesota said if you don't have to go out, don't.
Out in the open spaces out there, everything drifts over, so it's real hard to be able to get through it.
Folks who decided to hunker down indoors stocked up at the grocery store first, and that, coupled with supply chain issues and sick outs, means a lot of empty store shelves this weekend. Wins News Time 3:24. It is the 13th anniversary of the Miracle on the Hudson. The U.S. Airways flight out of LaGuardia was forced to ditch in the river after its engines failed. This is what the news of the landing sounded like on 1010 Winds 13 years ago today.
Yeah, the pilot had said to them, I'm not clear if he exactly said it was engine trouble, but the pilot did indicate to them that they were going to have to make an emergency landing, and he said, brace yourself. So this guy knew that something was happening and it was going to be trouble. And then he said they slammed into the water.
All 155 passengers and crew members on board were rescued by the ferry boats in the Hudson with only a few serious injuries. Winds News Time 325.
Dig your vinyl, man. My budget doesn't. Calling time on collecting. Don't give it up. State Farm has options to get you a surprisingly great rate. Rock on. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Call or go to statefarm.com for a quote today.
Hi everyone, it's Rodney Anderson with Supreme Lending. Every single day I have people call my office looking to do a cash out refinance, and they've been working with another lender for 60, 90, or 120 days, and they're not even closed yet. If you find yourself in this situation and you're trying to take cash out to pay off credit card debt, send the kids to college, or do home improvements, call me today at 1-800-EXPRESS or apply online at rodneyanderson.com.
With approved credit, terms subject to change without notice. Equal housing lender, NMLS ID 2129. Not affiliated with a government entity. MLO, NMLS ID 196730. 3000 Village Parkway, number 400, Highland Village, Texas 75077.
Winds News Time 326. Now Bloomberg Money Watch on 1010 Winds. Here's Jill Schneider.
As the pandemic approaches the 2-year mark, a new survey finds the vast majority of Americans say maintaining or improving their health and wellness is important.
This is no longer about how one looks. This is about how they can live their life, how they can be with their families.
Mindy Grossman, president and CEO of WW, formerly Weight Watchers, says COVID has motivated people to focus on themselves.
There's no question that our lives have been disrupted across the last number of years, and people are looking for a way to manage within a world of uncertainty.
WW has had to scrap most of its signature in-person meetings for online gatherings. But down the road, Grossman's hoping clients can choose their preferred method.
We're going to meet people where they want to be.
She says the key to any successful health and wellness program is livability. Grossman is stepping down from her position this year once a successor is found. Bloomberg Money Watch at 26 and 56 past every hour. I'm Jill Schneider for 1010 Winds.
Winds News Time 327.
Dig your vinyl, man. My budget doesn't. Calling time on collecting. Don't give it up. State Farm has options to get you a surprisingly great rate.
In 1 mile, use the right 3 lanes to continue on I-10 East Fort Pensacola.
Hi everyone, it's Rodney Anderson with Supreme Lending. Every single day I have people call my office looking to do a cash out refinance, and they've been working with another lender for 60, 90, or 120 days, and they're not even closed yet. If you find yourself in this situation and you're trying to take cash out to pay off credit card debt, send the kids to college, or do home improvements, call me today at 1-800-EXPRESS or apply online at rodneyanderson.com.
With approved credit, terms subject to change without notice. Equal housing lender, NMLS ID 2129. Not affiliated with a government entity. MLO, NMLS ID 196730. 3000 Village Parkway, number 400, Highland Village, Texas 75077.
If you missed this week's Money Matters show, you can listen to our podcast on iTunes or find it on rpoa.com. What you missed could impact how you view your Social Security, how to invest and protect your retirement, and other tips designed to make your money last as long as you do. Go to iTunes and search Money Matters with
Continue on I-10 East Fort Pensacola.
retirementplannersofamerica.com.
Hey Texas, Dave Ramsey here. Let's talk teeth for a minute. You either love yours.
Continue straight for 5 minutes to exit 26A. Now straight.
A bad decision, or just bad luck. Missing teeth can keep you from enjoying the life you deserve. It affects your diet, your appearance, and your self-confidence. So, what's the solution? Dental implants from Dr. Jeff Buski of Granbury Dental Center. His mission is to improve patient health, appearance, and self-confidence. Dr. Buski is highly skilled in the placement and restoration of dental implants. He's the doctor you call. So, whether you're missing one or multiple teeth, you want a doctor with experience, advanced technology, and a high success rate. That's Dr. Jeff Buski. Life's too short to not love your smile. Call Dr. Jeff Buski today. 817-776-5653. That's 817-776-5653.
It's 20 degrees now. Still got some sunshine. Going down to 12 with a clear, moonlit sky tonight. Tomorrow, cold, but not as harsh. Sunshine giving way to clouds, a high of 33 degrees. Then we get some snow tomorrow night. Get some slick spots, then it changes to rain as temperatures rise into the 40s. Winds news time, 3:30.
Good afternoon, I am Stephanie Officer. Firefighters spent hours battling an 11-alarm blaze at a chemical plant in Passaic, New Jersey overnight, but were able to avert disaster. The warehouse at the Qualco plant contained plastics, pallets, and thousands of pounds of chlorine, but the fire did not get to that main chemical storage area. Another major concern, the toxins being released into the air by burning plastics and chemicals. The smoke was carried all the way here to New York City. Ken Pincus, Passaic's health officer, gave an update on Facebook Live and said air quality is being monitored.
There's a lot of factors, especially with the wind, and we want to make sure that any of the chemical pollutants are monitored. If there are any, they will let everybody know, and they will be advised, and we will let everybody know if there's any changes. But right now, it's under the threshold.
No one was killed in the fire. One firefighter was taken to the hospital after being hit in the eye with debris. There were no other reports of serious injuries. That cause is now under investigation. It's news time 3:31. Now to check out traffic and transit on the ones with Russ Meyer.
And first up, Stephanie, we'll talk about the Cross Bronx. Looking at our 1010 Winds jam cam, and we have a 3-car crash on the Cross Bronx. It's on the eastbound Cross Bronx. By Webster Avenue, taking out the left lane, backing up traffic. Westbound, slow down, folks checking it out. Also, northbound side of the Deegan, delays from around Corner Road up towards Van Cortlandt Park as a result of the crash, taking out a lane. Also, we have traffic creeping along on the FDR Drive southbound side, coming from the RFK Bridge on down towards 79th Street. Beyond that point, though, everything is doing okay. Here is what you need to know about the bridges and tunnels. Traffic at the RFK Bridge, third across the board. You've got the Thrushing of the Whitestone doing all right. News will be sealed on that into Big 3 at the limit on the LIE east and westbound. Northern State and Southern State, no problems to report, and it will be Sunday park intervals for tomorrow. Traffic and transit every 10 minutes on the ones. Breaking traffic alerts whenever they happen. I'm Russ Meyer on 1010 Wind.
It's news time 3:32. Now your official 1010 Winds AccuWeather 4-day forecast with meteorologist John Feerick.
A bitterly cold afternoon out there. Temperatures really struggling, only about 20 degrees. We'll fall back to 12 tonight. The wind does subside through the night, but another very cold night. Need to bundle up. And then tomorrow, not as bad. We're up to 33, but snow does break out tomorrow evening after sunset. It should be a brief period of snow in and around the city. The nearby suburbs, maybe 1 to 3 hours of snow, I should say, and then it does quickly turn over to a windswept heavy rain for tomorrow night. There can be a slushy coating of an inch before the changeover in and around the city. Areas to the north and west, 287, snow hangs on a little bit longer, maybe on the order of 1 to 3 inches. But again, the main story, street highway flooding tomorrow night, with potential for strong damage and wind gusts along the coast, and there will be some coastal flooding as well. When the storm pulls away Monday morning, maybe some leftover flurries in the afternoon, the high on Monday, 42. Right now, Central Park, 20 with sunshine, going down to 12 tonight, Midtown. AccuWeather's John Feerick on New York's weather station.
19 degrees right now in Baldwin, 20 in Newark, 15 in Thornwood. Winds news time 3:33.
Dig your vinyl, man. My budget doesn't. Calling time on collecting. Don't give it up. State Farm has options to get you a surprisingly great rate. Rock on. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Call or go to statefarm.com for a quote today.
Hi everyone, it's Rodney Anderson with Supreme Lending. Every single day I have multiple people call my office that have been working on a refinance with another lender for 60, 90, or even 120 days. It's time to fire that lender and pick up the phone and call us at 1-800-EXPRESS. Our goal is to close our refinances in 20 days or less, and we're doing it every single day.
With approved credit terms subject to change without notice. Equal housing lender.
Watch out vehicle on shoulder ahead.
MLS ID 196730, 3000 Village Parkway, number 400, Highland Village, Texas 75077.
Winds news time 3:35. Something new to think about when planning a vacation. Starting today, the CDC's COVID regulations for cruise ships are now optional. That means operators will voluntarily decide whether to meet recommendations on vaccination, testing, and mask wearing on cruise ships. Speaking to Good Morning America today, the president and CEO of Virgin Voyages, Tom McAlpin, promising his company will keep strict testing and vaccination requirements in place. But what about the CDC still advising against cruising regardless of your vaccine status?
We're testing everybody before they get on board. We've got these purification systems.
Police reported ahead.
So we don't understand why we're being singled out from other industries. But you know what? We're happy with the fact that we are operating and we're operating safely.
Meanwhile, scientists are warning Omicron will not be the last COVID-19 variant. Many believe the virus will keep spreading and mutating, and they can't guarantee what comes next won't be worse. That's why they say vaccination is key. But there is a glimmer of good news, at least in our area. Governor Hochul says she believes New York is turning a corner with positivity rates slightly down. And Mayor Adams says hospitalizations from COVID are stabilizing in the city and can soon start to decline. Meanwhile, the CDC has updated its mask guidance.
The CDC now recommends
In half a mile, use the right 2 lanes to take exit 26A, Canal Street.
ABC News medical contributor Dr. Darian Sutton says N95s can be hard to come by or expensive, so he recommends
If you're outside and you don't have access to an N95, to wear a surgical mask first, closest to your face, and then a well-fitting cloth mask over that fits closely to the sides of your face and under your chin.
the change in guidance comes as the contagious Omicron variant spreads and the U.S. sees record high caseloads.
Correspondent Mark Renillard reporting. Well, a push to make the city safer and get
Exit right to exit 26A, Canal Street.
Flatbush, Brooklyn. You'll be given $200 and an iPad for each handgun or assault rifle. They're also accepting shotguns and air guns. New York City Police Commissioner Keaton Sewell and the Brooklyn DA, Eric Gonzalez, are hosting this event. DA Gonzalez spoke with 1010 Wins.
They're really popular. In fact, communities throughout Brooklyn ask for us to host them. It's a real opportunity for a local community. And we host these normally in churches, and so it's an opportunity for that community and the people who are congregants of that church to feel like they're fighting against gun violence. So it's incredibly popular.
Gun buyback is being held at the Vanderveer Park United Methodist Church. That's at 3114 Glenwood Road. You just got a couple of minutes. It's ending at 4. Guns should be unloaded and packed in a bag or box. It's completely anonymous. No questions asked. 20 degrees, mostly sunny, going down to 12 in Midtown. Winds news time, 3:38 now. 1010 Winds Entertainment News.
The killer is a part of something in the past.
In 900 feet, keep left to Jackson Street.
Well, Scream is the latest horror film you all really wanted to see in theaters because this is the domestic box office release set to finally dethrone Spider-Man No Way Home after Marvel's 4-week reign in the top slot. Scream's 5th franchise installment and the first in over a decade grossed more than $13.3 million yesterday. The studio projects
keep left to Jackson Street.
Over this long Dr. MLK holiday weekend, more than enough to land it at number 1.
We couldn't pass a horse without Charlie saying, "Can I show you something in an Oxford?" Then he'd laugh, and I'd laugh. Sometimes even the horse would laugh.
Never fails. NBC is assembling a primetime special to honor beloved actress Betty White. She starred, of course, in the hit sitcom Golden Girls that originally aired on NBC from 1985 to 92. Celebrating Betty White, America's Golden Girl will premiere January 31st on NBC and be available to stream the next day on Peacock. White died
in a quarter of a mile. Turn right on St. Francis Street.
Is Monday. Entertainment news at 38 past each and every hour, right here on 1010 Wins. Wins News Time, 3:39.
Love the mocha's here.
Too bad my budget doesn't.
Sarah, don't give it up. State Farm has options to get you a surprisingly great rate.
In 1,000 feet, turn right.
State Farm is there. Call or go to statefarm.com for a quote today.
Hi everyone, it's Rodney Anderson with Supreme Lending. Every single day I have multiple people call my office that have been working on a refinance with another lender for 60, 90, or even 120 days. It's time to fire that lender and pick up the phone and call us at 1-800-EXPRESS. Our goal is to close our refinances in 20 days or less, and we're doing it every single day.
With approved credit terms subject to change without notice. Equal housing lender, NMLS ID 2129, not affiliated with the government entity. MLO, NMLS ID 196730, 3000 Village Parkway, number 400, Highland Village, Texas 75077.
Do you really want to hire some out-of-town salesman over the phone to handle your IRS tax issues? course now. Hi, I'm attorney Nick Namath. My firm is located right here in Dallas, and we've helped thousands of Texans solve their IRS tax issues. When you call my office, you can meet directly with me, and I'll tell you exactly how we can help try and solve your IRS tax issues and how much it'll cost. Don't put something this important in the hands of some out-of-town non-lawyer. Call me, Nick Namath, 972-484-0-TAX, or go to myirsteam.com.
Whether it's Alexa, Google Home, your iPhone, or the car radio, stay with 1010 Wins and stay connected.
The News Watch never stops. This is 1010 Wins. You give us 22 minutes, we'll give you the world.
In 400 feet, turn right.
On your Saturday, January 15th, I am Stephanie Officer. Here's what's happening. In a matter of minutes, officials will hold a press conference with more details about the woman who was pushed to her death into the path of an oncoming train at the Times Square station this morning.
Turn right on South Franklin Street.
Tomorrow evening's winter storm. Two are dead after a pair of shootings in the city overnight. The west coast of the U.S.
In 600 feet, turn right on St. Francis Street.
Erupted near Tonga. Anti-vaxxers cause chaos over breadsticks at the Olive Garden in Times Square. In sports, NFL wildcard time, Raiders at the Bengals, Pats at the Bills, Knicks at Atlanta tonight, and the Nets host New Orleans tonight as well. 20 degrees, we're going down to 12. Ouch, in Midtown. Winds news time 341, time for traffic and transit on the ones. We're to Russ Meyer.
We'll head on over to the FDR Drive. I want to talk about southbound delays out there between the RFK Bridge and 79th Street.
Turn right on St. Francis Street.
If you want to skip that, you got the avenues. You've also got Henry Hudson Parkway and West Side Highway doing okay. If you want to opt for that. Now we have delays on.
In 900 feet, you arrive at Hilton Garden Inn, Mobile downtown. Your destination will be on your right.
Car crash, left lane is blocked off as a result. Also westbound slowdowns heading into the side of that crash with onlookers, and then those delays continue out towards the Deegan. Tough going now northbound side. It is jammed beginning at the crosswalks up towards just before Van Cloten Park. Crash taking out a lane and some southbound slowdowns with onlookers as well. Here's what you need to know about bridges and tunnels. All three Upper East River crossings are looking good. Busy traffic in the Manhattan 59th Street Bridge in the Midtown Tunnel, but nothing major.
You've arrived. Destination is on your right.
For tomorrow, I'm Russ Meyer. Next report, 3:51 on 1010 Wins.
A woman is pushed to her death in a vicious attack in Times Square.
The woman was killed instantly. She was a 40-year-old Asian woman, and she had been waiting for a southbound R train at the Times Square station. At about 20 minutes to 10 in the morning, she was pushed to the tracks. At that moment, the train was pulling into the station, and she was killed.